This is her son talking.
I can be that, or I could be a paladin to cleanse you of those sins and bring you back into the light. But to do so is to walk the full path of repentance.
This is her son talking.
You must repent for all the things that you have done.
You better repent, Jaguar. This boy
Acknowledge the wrongs that you have committed, the crimes that you have done, the evasions of taxes over the years from leeching money from
Her own mama. I ain't tell you that part.
from your own mother, and from the people who you marry into. All of the slander you've thrown against your kind sister, your kindred family, who you spilled the blood of for years. And for that whipping that you gave me for venting frustration.
This is her son.
All right. So, listen, this is a pretty iconic
Shout out to
interview.
Sam.
Certainly.
I don't know how this is gonna go. I want to apologize for the after effects. I'm sure that I'm probably gonna get the bulk of the
She threatened to
backlash,
sue
but
him
I'm
over this
still for
interview.
it. Don't you worry about it, okay?
Certainly.
And so I just want to say, viewer discretion is advised. If people are triggered, this is not the interview for you, okay? And so we actually have someone here who is, you're famous by default.
Yeah, I guess so. Born and living through it.
Okay, so you are Jaguar Wright's youngest son,
Yes.
Sam Odom Jr., aka Deuce.
Yes.
All right, in the flesh,
In flesh.
in South Florida. You look amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you look. I apologize. I had to go put on my suit jacket. I ain't got no shoes on though. They don't really see my feet in here, but you know what I'm saying? I wanted to match your swag and everything. Now let's clear this up. You're not a child.
No longer a child. I am fully an adult in all forms.
Okay, and how old are you?
22.
22. Okay. And so are you still in school? Because I know the last time we spoke during the documentary series.
Oh, yeah, that was a while ago. I've been out of school for a little bit, but as of this year, starting last week,
Okay.
I'm back in.
Okay. Congratulations. What are you studying?
Right now, studying to get my associate's degree in art and design.
Okay. All right. I can see you do that. IT. Because you do spend a lot of time on computers and everything like that.
Indeed, I do spend time with computers and whatnot, though. I feel my heart is more for the artistic side of the world.
Okay, I can see that. Well, shout out to dudes. And shout out to your father, too. Me and your dad are like this. You know what I'm saying? That's your daddy. He nice looking, too. You
Certainly.
know? I know he get all the ladies all the time. So let's talk about Deuce. Listen, now I'm going to call you Deuce. Is that okay? Or would you rather?
Certainly. Go
Okay,
ahead.
cool. All right, no problem. So you are Jaguar Wright's youngest son.
Correct.
There, you had a brother, correct, who is now deceased.
Yes.
Okay, and so it's pretty much been you for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay, and so I just kind of want to give people some backstory. I did speak to you a few years ago because we did a documentary series on your
Yes.
mother. You remember that?
I remember.
And you gave full consent to tell, your story, and you didn't even tell everything.
Absolutely.
Right. You just basically was, stating what you had experienced, and it was very short and sweet. And we didn't, we didn't put out much when it came to that because you were still transitioning into
Indeed.
adulthood. Okay. And so here recently, things have certainly taken a turn because you were living with your mother for some time. So you had left your father's house. Okay. And you went to live with your mom.
Indeed.
Where did you guys go live when you left your father's house to go live with your mom?
When I left my father's house, or I guess to say more specifically, when I basically stepped my own self out into my mother's place.
Okay.
I guess to give a bit of context to that, time in Westchester University in Pennsylvania for me wasn't exactly the best to get used to. At the time, while I do like being in the school and college setting, adapting to a college is to compare to a community college. It can be a bit of a tough pill to swallow and get adapted to at times, especially for someone who was very less confident himself and someone who was not very open to be social, even though he liked to talk with other people.
Okay.
So at the time, it was very hard to be very open with others, even with those in my family. And at the time, I had gotten in my head at the time that people must be very disappointed in me, the fact that I'm failing and I'm hiding it from them.
Okay.
And they didn't. And at the time, I saw it in myself to say, move with my mother, because I saw more of myself as a failure, but maybe she could see something in me.
Okay. So you were living with your dad, and then you went to school. You
Yes.
didn't do very well in school. And so you decided, because you were failing,
Yes.
let me go stay with my mom, and hopefully...
Yeah, try to maybe recenter myself, try to find some sort of equilibrium.
Okay.
That's and that summer after May, that's when I moved to the legacy of Cedar Hill in Cedar Hill, Texas, with my mother. And at the time, my grandmom Frances and Gerald.
Francis, that's her name, not
And
Thelma.
so how was when you initially got there? And I do understand that, because leaving high school, going into college, you know, kids, y'all are not built like how we were built these days. You know what I'm saying?
Most certainly.
Right. And so, you know, your dad, he had well prepared you.
Yes.
And, you know, there's only so much preparing we can do for kids.
Yeah. Suffice to say that my transition into college was definitely an awkward one, especially since I graduated in 2020 when, you know.
During COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, when the outbreak was at its peak.
Okay.
So I definitely say the blow was definitely a bit blunted by me going to community college online at first for my freshman year.
Okay.
That definitely softened things up because I was able to stay at home. I know when my father was going to come back. I could keep easier track of my assignments. And I got good grades while I was there, especially in the ones I wanted to focus on, which were primarily art.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you get to Cedar Hill,
Cedar
Texas,
Hill.
with Jaguar, your mom.
Yes.
And what was the move pretty smooth?
The move was basically very smooth. Granted, there are some things that I do kind of regret. Well, it's a light regret that'll pass in no time. Basically, the move was a simple flight. Well, it was a 2-flight trip. She couldn't book me a direct flight.
That's what I was just thinking
over
too, Trevor.
To Dallas, Fort Worth.
Okay. I was
So
thinking the
I
same
had to take the
thing.
plane over to Las Vegas, and then I waited in the airport over there in order. No, not Las Vegas, Los Angeles.
Okay.
Before I took the flight to Dallas, Fort Worth.
Okay. And so it wasn't as smooth as you wanted it.
It's not exactly the perfect definition of smooth, but it's basically extremely smooth. I'd say 90%. And that's mainly because I've been flying across the place my entire life.
Okay. So you get there. Where was your mom staying at that point in time?
She was staying at the legacy of Cedar Hill apartment.
That apartment complex
With Gerald.
Yeah.
Her now
that she got
ex-husband.
evicted
Now
from.
ex-husband, yes.
Okay. And this is the first time that you lived with your mom since you were...
This would be the first time that I would be living with my mother since, I would say, December of 2017, a bit before that Christmas.
Okay. And so before that, how long had it been? How long did you live with your mom from 2017 up until what? How many years?
Let's see. I'd say in between the times that I've been living with my mother, because the way how the custody worked, let's see. It was originally that I would stay with my mother during the active school year before 7th grade in 2015.
That's when she
Okay.
kidnapped
When
him.
it switched to my father during the active school year.
Okay.
But basically, I would stay with my mother originally during the school year. I'd be with my father during the weekends if it were possible, or during the holidays. And then it basically became the inverse when I stayed with my father during the active school year, and I'd be with my mother during the holidays.
Okay.
However, of course, those holidays were quote unquote extended.
Where they towed her
when she
car because she wasn't supposed to be parking there no more because she had been
held
evicted.
me with her during those times, in which can be considered as kidnapping.
Oh, damn.
She
Okay.
kidnapped him.
Basically, to
I told y'all,
give
I
a
wasn't
full-on
lying.
summary in the times that I had extended stays with her, to put it at the lightest form.
Okay, I'll go back because I know I was
have been
talking
living
over it.
with my mother because the way how the custody worked, let's see, it was originally that I would stay with my mother during the active school year before 7th grade in 2015. 15,
Okay.
I believe, when it switched to my father during the active school year.
Okay.
But basically, I would stay with my mother originally during the school year. I'd be with my father during the weekends if it were possible, or during the holidays. And then it basically became the inverse when I stayed with my father during the active school year.
Watch
and I'd be
this.
with my mother during the holidays.
Okay.
However, of course, those holidays were quote unquote extended when she effectively held me with her during those times, in which can be considered as kidnapping.
Legally,
Okay.
her court records say it's
basically,
kidnapped.
to give a full-on summary in the times that
Told
I had
y'all.
extended stays with her, to put it at the lightest form, I would go with my mother. I'd tell her how things had been when I was with Dad. I'd express some things that give me some discontent, like, for example, back in 2015, in the summer of 2015, I was with my mom in a place in Philadelphia with a friend. She said I was kind of hiding it initially, but I told her what happened between my father and the woman he was staying with at the time, and how they had that messy breakup in the apartment, and how we.
Now, mind you, his dad works for Ralph Lauren. He's been working for Ralph Lauren since the 90s and still does. Stable. Okay.
Got forcibly moved out by security.
Okay.
And that, to me, at that time, stuck out to me because that was effectively a similar form of eviction, and I had already gone through that twice up to that point with my mother.
Okay. Okay. So it triggered you.
Yes, you can say, yeah, it's definitely safe to say that it triggered me. It made me feel very unsafe. It developed a paranoia that no matter where I go, it was only temporary, and that I'm never going to have a permanent home, or the things and the memories that I've made are going to fade away eventually. I'll never get them back.
Okay.
I told this worry to my mom, at least how I could, as a 12-year-old at the time, or I believe 12-year-old at the time.
Okay.
And she basically gave me a sort of ultimatum. If you want, you could stay here longer with me, and as far as school, you could take some classes online. Now, I can definitely tell you that a panic and fear-induced child, a 12-year-old at the time, who didn't know what exactly this meant, or the idea of what this would mean in terms of the custody, isn't exactly in the right headspace to make these very life impacting changes. But I effectively said yes to my mom out of fear of not wanting to go through the same thing again with Dad, because I felt like the same thing was going to happen with the friend that he was me and him were with, and the rest of the time that we were in Chicago.
Okay. Because I mean, your mom, she's lived a pretty, like, kind of just fast life per se. So
Homeless.
it was something that you kind of got used to. And so
Yes.
was this the first time that your dad had been evicted?
Yes, I would say it's to my knowledge, it's the first and only time we've been evicted. But even in that point, it was a very light one. He basically got on work immediately afterwards, and we got both of us. Both of us were able to stay with the friend he was with in a condominium down the street from Obama's house.
Okay.
Since my grades were so high, he even did what I would consider a mercy, some would consider a mercy, in being able to basically head with my mom early and basically end the 7th grade early, since my grades were so high.
Houston, get ready for a New Year's Eve experience that will go down in history. I'm live on stage at the Bayou Event Center.
Thank you, Tasha. Appreciate you.
Describe growing up.
She be yelling,
with
don't she?
You know, with
Sorry about
with
that.
your
yeah.
mom being a celebrity like Jaguar Wright. How would you describe that?
Well, the celebrity experience was definitely quite an interesting one. I got to experience many things over the course of my life. I mean, I believe it was when I was 1.5 years old when she had to take a trip overseas to Tokyo.
Oh.
An interesting experience that I have fond memories of, and slight traces that allow me to speak the minuscule bit of Japanese that I know now.
Oh, okay. You remember when you was one?
I do not remember the vivid depictions of it, but I can definitely sense that the memory is there. It's dormant, but I can still recall it.
Okay. And you speak some Japanese?
A little bit. I learn it from the media that I watch.
Okay. And so what else did you, just kind of experience with your...
In terms of experience, moving, especially via travel through plane, was something that I got used to. It makes flights nowadays seem pretty trivial in comparison. I'm a very calm person, even when I was very young, and didn't really make much noise while on the plane. It was something I was accustomed to.
Okay. Have you ever, because your mom claims that you have, I believe, autism, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Why are you taking a deep breath like that?
I'm taking a deep breath right now because this is gonna be one of the many instances in which how I describe my mother is gonna vastly differ from how I described her in our last interview.
Okay.
Basically, the claim of autism is completely false.
Got you, Trevor.
Okay.
If it seems like I have autism, it's just the fact that I'm very socially awkward when it comes to people. Even nowadays, I don't consider myself a member of Gen Z in terms of behavior. And if I am, I'm very highly intellectual, far from the norm.
Okay.
And I have my own measure in which I study things and decipher things. I take a lot of things into detail, especially when it comes to nature or artwork, hence how I like the art word so much, especially when it comes to music too, deciphering certain things here and there that many people may miss. Or say, for example, when someone's editing something, I may come across a couple gaffes here and there that other people may dismiss on the majority, but only a very few will feel, but say, I'm not so sure about it.
Okay.
This, to my mother, feels like something on the form of autism that could be possible, but it's not exactly the case. For example, I do not strictly order things in specific patterns or whatnot. I haven't really cared for it. What I do care for is organization, as it keeps things clean, to keep things tidy, and makes things easier to move around.
Okay.
But that isn't a consistent thing that I double down on.
Okay. So has she told you that you were autistic?
She has told me many occasions, but like always, there hasn't been a doctor to confirm it.
Okay.
She's always been wanting to do so, but I believe even if I see a doctor now, the result is going to come up negative.
Okay. What about Asperger's?
Asperger's, same thing. Not the case.
Okay. All right. And so has she said anything like that to you? I mean, because like she's very open with these interviews about, I guess the condition that you were born with and that she's, gotten benefits for. And so like, any mother, like we know our children, but your dad he stands 10 toes down and says, there's nothing wrong with you. He just says like, you just do things differently.
I agree more with my father than my mother in this case.
Okay.
If I indeed had Asperger's autism or autism in general, I feel like my behavior would be even more radically different than so, and my behaviors to many things would be a lot more different than was the case. I mean, I've gone to many schools over the years, but across all of them, I treat them all the same way, and I'm just with my own very high cognitive function, and I'm capable of doing well in any environment, really, and even adapting to different environments, whether it be different schools, different states, or even different jobs now.
So you can take care of yourself?
Certainly.
Okay. And you don't need like daily assistance in doing that?
I don't need daily assistance.
Okay.
If I were in a financially stable position, I'm capable of maintaining that by myself.
Okay. Now, when you did move with your mom to Texas this last time, your grandmother was with you.
Yes.
She's no longer with you all. Your mom was arrested on live one day when I guess maybe she was evicted in Texas and she drives to Louisiana.
Okay.
And then she's on live. I don't know if you remember this day. She was in a hot tub.
I remember that.
I do
you guys
too.
were inside a hotel and it was like boxes stacked up everywhere. You guys were hungry.
I remember that too.
There was no food. I guess maybe you were playing video games,
But
and she gets arrested. Like, Do you remember that day?
You would like me to give further details?
Yes.
That's the last time I saw him.
Okay.
Okay, so about that that eviction, the fourth eviction that she's had to go through, same with me, and will be technically my fifth eviction if you count the one with my father.
Okay.
So on the night before that eviction, I saw the eviction notice, basically the pink slip in a yellow sheet saying, "You need to move all of your things out now, or we will forcefully remove it from the apartment."
Okay.
On my old phone, which I have in my room, unfortunately it's broken. I have to get it repaired in order to show the message. I sent her the picture of it, saying, "What are we going to do about this?" But she said to me that it was perfectly fine. Nothing to fret over it. Just relax in your room.
Okay.
Basically treating it as if it were normal.
Mm-hmm.
And
'Cause it's normal
even back
for her.
then, when I was very quiet about kind of dissenting towards my mother's word, I felt alarm bells ringing in the back of my head. That paranoia was striking again, but it felt less vivid than it did in the previous times. Like it was becoming normalized. Even though I believe everyone can agree that 4 evictions is something no one should go through. One at most.
Okay. I agree.
So that eviction happened, and all of the things were moved outside in boxes and trash bags and whatnot. And my mom had to get her ID in order to get the Penske truck in order to move things out.
Okay.
And me at the time, even back then, it was in the back of my head, but I can definitely tell you now, antics have been going on at the legacy of Cedar Hill at the time. I even remember the instance in which some young kids were beating up an elderly man out on the outside. And I knew at that time that with how controversial, or at worst infamous, my mother had been in that area, if we were left out there in the middle of the night, we were basically free shots for them to vent out their frustrations, vent out their anger, mess with us, toy with us, get popular on social media. I couldn't allow that. Not to myself, not to my mother, not to my grandmother, and not to Gerald.
Okay.
So Gerald was gone at the time, but if he were with us, also for him too.
Okay.
I was going to do what it takes to get us that truck before sundown.
Okay.
So I searched around in each of those bags, constantly looking for it. And I swear to you, my hunger and dehydration at the time, since I didn't have much to eat after breakfast, and since we were evicted in the noon, it made me feel like that I was searching every single bag.
He's referring to that video of when Jaguar Wright put her pocketbook in the back of a car and swore to God she lost it, and then went on live and asked people for cash apps, while he and his grandmother, who I think at the time was 76 or 79, searched around for the pocketbook in the evicted trash in the heat. And Jaguar Wright never lifted a finger to help them find it, yelled at them, berated them the entire time, and her mother didn't have any insulin.
But I couldn't find it anywhere, and I felt like I was losing it until my mother finally caved and got me some lunch over at Fuel City.
Okay.
And then
that video is it's either on the channel or it's on Patreon. Most likely I moved it to Patreon, and I think it's called Jaguar Wright Never Lost Her Pocketbook.
And in that evening, when the sun was starting to go down, I had finally found the bag, her pocketbook, her purse, which had her ID, and I felt so relieved. Now, looking at a recent stream, well, not recent, but several weeks ago now, from someone who has kept an eye on my mother, which I'm very thankful for.
You're welcome.
Miss Danny Robertson. Someone in her chat mentioned that my mother had actually staged the hiding of her
The
purse
whole thing.
just to get some fame of the situation.
Exactly.
Oh, what do you mean?
In other words, she purposefully hid that bag away, even though we needed it in order to get the truck.
She did.
Okay.
And had me searching around, and had recorded me frantically searching around.
She did.
And her basically talking loudly and brashly to Grandma Frances.
Did I lie?
And then once she felt like she had milked enough of the situation, she had basically placed it in a spot for me to find it.
Okay.
And in which I did that search again and then found the purse.
Okay.
Which
So she recorded you on live doing all this.
secretly behind my back, yes.
Okay.
I do not like that. But as of right now, I basically dismiss it as one of the many things that I figured out over the course of these 2 years now. Oh, well, 1 or 2
She sat in the
years.
car.
Yeah, basically 1.5 years now since I've been away from her, that have made me view her in a much more negative light. And
Like
I'm
how?
Okay, I specified this in a kind of interview that I did with with
To go into that situation further, the way that we figured out Jaguar Wright was lying about that bag was because she got in a car and she kept looking. You know how when I always tell people here, I could tell you talking about me because you can't talk about me without looking at me. Okay? I know what's popping. I live in South Korea. I can tell you talking about me because you can't stop looking at me while you talking. While she was in the driver's seat of this vehicle, she kept looking in the back seat behind the passenger seat. Talking about, I don't know where my pocketbook is. I don't know where and she looking dead at it the whole time. Like we ain't graduated colleges and universities and shit and can't figure shit out.
Sean Davy way.
Shout out to Sean Davy Way.
Shout out to Sean Davy way.
Right.
But to put it the Cliff Notes version, I've separated my mother into 2 people.
Oh God.
Jacqueline
So have we.
Suzette Wright, her legal name, and Jaguar Wright.
Yeah, there's
her
more
stage
than that too, though.
I love Jacqueline Suzette Wright. She is my mother, and I love her with every bit of my being, in spite of the things that she's done. However, Jaguar Wright is the kind of person I abhor.
Okay.
To give you the Cliff Notes version on how I
She never looked for
view
it.
Jaguar Wright.
She didn't lift a
She's
finger.
5 things to me.
Okay.
She is an over-possessive siren who lures any people who try to be kind to her into her den and protects the things that she owns, whether it be her gained wealth or, even at worst, her own sons, whether they be dead or alive, like a dragon protects a hoard of gold. That's 1.
Okay.
2, Jaguar Wright is a vindictive thief who
What'd I tell
hates
you?
those who have slighted her or have done any wrong to her in her eyes, stirs the pot of bad blood for well over a decade, and pettily steals things from those whom she hates for her own purposes.
This
For
is her own son talking.
Okay.
3, she is a dead son of narcissism.
Okay.
Who has been overfueled with the eutrophication of love from her father and her mother at such a young age, well before her double digits, that it spoiled her rotten and led her to believe that she was a shining star amidst the cosmos.
Yep.
When in actuality, she burnt out.
A long time ago.
4, she is a hyperbolic criminal with the mask of a cultist who has spread and blown things so far out of proportion to the point where nobody can hopefully nobody will find the truth of the matter, and to keep her name in the circles of controversy so that all the attention will always be on her.
Now look at what I'm talking about with these minuscule moments, these videos that she's reproduced and created this whole storyline around pointing to P. Diddy. We had to go back and look at those complete videos. Who had the time to do that today? I did. I just looked at my wrist. I got time today. I don't normally have that kind of time. But she's depending on people to take these quick bites and be like, oh, we praying for Jaguar. Oh, they after Jaguar. Protect her at all costs. And all, bitch, we gonna break that shit down. We have the time, we have the energy, and we have the resources to break it down and figure it out. She was hoping nobody would, but we did again.
And likewise, hypocritically proclaiming to my now late half brother to never play like a game series from Rockstar known as GTA, Grand Theft Auto, when she has effectively done the same herself in real life now. And fifth, and people watching this are probably going to remember this one, and they're probably going to be laughing at this. Fifth, Jaguar Wright is a profane prostitute.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Now, I haven't watched this. This is my very first time ever seeing this because I disconnected myself from Jaguar Wright in May of 2023. Y'all remember, Amanda, when I said I'm backing out because she's connected to some hood ghetto bullshit. So just like I cut off Dalton, I cut off Jaguar. I let the old subscribers go. I started talking about the Titan submersible and a whole bunch of other shit just to let the old crowd go. That's why I'm not connected to numbers. Subscribers come and subscribers go. You know who your day ones are. Shout out to you, Amanda and Danny and Rosetta. People who've been with me since then. Listen, I told y'all she is I showed you a video earlier. This is the one that y'all think P. Diddy is after, though. This is the one y'all think is gonna be the next Martin Luther King, though. Okay.
Day Kadishtu, indoctrinated by the four women
Thank you, Lisa.
of the Zohar to be in communication with the devil in our religious faith, and to bring harm, or at worst, even death, upon members of our family.
I'm gonna let you hear that again, because I know that was a shock. Because I've been lying. I've been taking my good, sweet, justified time. A person who don't have a criminal history, a person who ain't got nobody chasing after them, both righteous or unrighteous, a person who can go outside without looking over my shoulder. A person who has an ex-husband who don't talk bad about me, who has a child's father who don't talk bad about me. Shout outs to you. I just saw the notification to my bank account. Thank you. Okay, I'm a person who makes my own money, has my own income, is degreed with multiple degrees, earns my own living, raises my own child, doesn't have to steal, never sold my pussy. Never pimped anybody, never sold drugs, won't even share weed with my neighbors when I live in America because I don't want nothing on me. Okay? But I'm a hater. I'm a hater. I'm just hating on Jaguar. I'm just jealous because she can sing poorly. I'm just jealous. I'm gonna let y'all hear that again. Now, this is her offspring. This is her son.
I've separated my mother into two people.
Okay.
Jacqueline Suzette
So
Wright,
are you, Amanda.
her legal
It takes one to know one,
and
baby.
Jaguar Wright, her stage name.
Okay.
I love Jacqueline Suzette Wright. She is my mother, and I love her with every bit of my being, in spite of the things that she's done. However, Jaguar Wright is the kind of person I abhor.
Okay.
To give you the Cliff Notes version on how I view Jaguar Wright.
I would love to hear his
five
extended
things.
version.
Okay.
She is an over-possessive siren who lures any people who try to be kind to her into her den and protects the things that she owns, whether it be her gained wealth or, even at worst, her own sons, whether they be dead or alive, like a dragon protects a hoard of gold. That's one.
Okay.
Two.
Thank you, Amanda. I really appreciate
Jaguar
that.
Wright is a vindictive thief who hates those who have slighted her or have done any wrong to her in her eyes, stirs the pot of bad blood for well over a decade, and pettily steals things from those whom she hates for her own purposes or for her own hatred.
Okay.
Three, she is a dead son of narcissism who has been overfueled with the eutrophication of love from her father and her mother
Me
at
too,
such a young
honey.
age, well before her double digits, that it spoiled her rotten and led her to believe that she was a shining star.
But Amanda, have we not had late night, long ass lives where we broke this shit down and figured this shit out too? And said, this is who she is. This is the problem. Her mama ain't never corrected her. Mama, I don't know why they say this stuff about me. We've done this work, and I don't think you're a psychologist, and I know I'm not one. Shout out to Sam.
It's the cosmos, when in actuality, she burnt out.
Oh.
4, she is a hyperbolic criminal with the mask of a cultist who has spread and blown things so far out of proportion.
11 hours and 55 minutes, baby.
To hopefully nobody will find the truth of the matter, and to keep her name in the circles of controversy so that all the attention will always be on her.
I almost reposted that entire live today, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that to those people.
And likewise, hypocritically proclaiming to my now late half-brother to never play a game series from Rockstar known as GTA, Grand Theft Auto, when she has effectively done the same herself in real life now. And 5th, and people watching this are probably going to remember this one, and they're probably going to be laughing at this. 5th, Jaguar Wright is a profane prostitute.
Yes, she is. At the lake behind Erykah Badu, but no, not even behind Erykah Badu's house every morning. Y'all were like, "Oh, she looks so beautiful. Oh, I love this Jaguar. Oh, she looks so radiant." She was out there selling pussy. That's what LaGina said. She was trying to get LaGina to sell pussy. That's who Johnny Popcorn was. Her tricks. 2023, yes. 2023, yes. 2023. This is only 2025. I'm not talking about the early 2000s or the 90s or the 80s. I'm talking about 2023. Less than 36 months ago. She was behind, and I showed you the video today of her at the beef patty shop trying to sell some pussy. Angela said she was trying to make me do it too, but I don't do that.
Indoctrinated by the 4 women of the Zohar to be in communication.
Oh, we stopped watching her at some point. I'll show those videos.
In our religious faith, and to bring harm, or at worst, even death, upon members of our family.
Yep. Her own son.
That's the Cliff Notes version.
Her own son. I want to hear the whole. I want to hear the whole version.
I gotta tell you something.
She cracking up because her son is reading her.
You have your mother's gift of storytelling.
And let me tell you something. Tasha K interviewed about 4 years ago. Tasha K interviewed Jaguar Wright's family. Okay? If we have time, we'll look at it. I know y'all probably, if y'all want to get back to that nigga talking shit, then we could do that. If y'all want to stay right here and stay on this, then we could do that too. Because Tasha K put out a whole thing about Jaguar Wright called Surviving Jaguar Wright, where she talked to her family. And I told you earlier, I said, wonder why her family don't speak up for her.
I am a very minor, but somewhat self-trained music composer.
Okay.
And an artist.
Okay. But he ain't no thief.
I have the gift of art flowing through my veins.
Okay.
So
both
that much
his
is
parents
most
are
certainly a fact. And I am capable of painting together very narratives of sort.
I was gonna say your mother, like, you guys have the same storytelling elements.
Except he telling the truth.
I love it. I love it.
The key difference with yes.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Amanda, because I'm done with Mark for the night
now,
too. I want to get to the deliberation.
I have
Thank you.
kept separate with Jaguar Wright.
Okay.
As in her actions.
Okay.
And her persona.
Okay.
As they say, hate the sin, not the sinner. And over these years, over this year and a half, I realized all the wrongs that my mother has struck upon
has to be
me and has
hurtful.
tried to do with me.
Okay. Like what?
To an all-encompassing degree, she's attempted to use me as a pawn, a weapon and shield against those whom she hates, including her own family, for her own purposes, to manifest her ideal reality into real life, and that is to be the hit star that she never was, or at least the hit star that she tried to be, but was stolen away from her when those in a higher position used her as a sacrifice.
What do you mean a sacrifice?
I heard this from a member of my family, an
Okay.
aunt who I keep in contact with, and I'm pretty sure you can connect the dots to who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Tasha know.
Basically, my mother's career started in rap. But she didn't see the light in it
Okay.
at the time.
All right.
And frankly, she was probably striking out in it too early, didn't see the confidence in it, and probably was seeing the confidence in it when artists like, say, Nicki Minaj got on board.
Okay.
So she broke into singing.
Okay, thank you.
And she was doing really well at it too. She had
Thank you,
the
yeah.
angelical voice gifted
We
by
right
God
here.
himself.
I don't think she could sing that
However-
well. I'll be honest with you.
The group that she was with at the time, the Roots, they saw her as a good artist.
She was a
But
fuck
they
toy
also
too.
saw her as the perfect scapegoat to get away with whatever they were doing at the time. Whatever that was, I cannot say. I'm not in the situation myself. But they used her as a sacrificial lamb. And
Well, she was
that
fucking all of
blood
them.
spilt from the lamb is basically where all of that hatred stews.
Oh, okay. So, it was, okay. I get you now.
I mean, her
Now, you said your mama was
husband.
a-
Her husband came to visit her in New York, and his father came into a hotel room, and she was fucking one of the members of the Roots, and he ended up getting into a fight with the nigga, just like you just saw with Goomba and Solar. She was also fucking Big L while she was married. Jay-Z. She got up on that altar and opened her legs herself.
Prostitute. Where'd
She-
you hear that from?
Look at the film.
Originally, the prostitute
Talib
line was
Kweli,
something that I
yep.
came up with myself because
Keep naming them.
in 2023,
Keep naming them.
in I believe February
That was Talib
or
Kweli.
late January,
Okay.
Sugar, you
this
own
was
it.
in the time me and my mother were in contact with Miss Legina Gold at the time at the South
The
Side.
one who said that she's Aaliyah's daughter.
Uh-huh. Angela Awosu.
Okay.
Okay. She said
Yes.
she's Aaliyah R. Kelly's
Yeah.
daughter.
I do not know.
Yep,
the
we
full
played the
details
video
on
from the
myself, so
barbershop. It's about, what time is it now? 3:42. It's roughly an hour and 15 or 30 minutes from now. Yeah, I'm gonna break this down into small clips, Amanda, so don't even worry about it, okay? But yeah, we played the video from the barbershop. We saw the whole thing from the time she got out the car, from when she was in the barbershop to my fight me now. All that shit. But you've seen it before.
I will not give my word on it, but
I'm gonna go back because
whenever
I've been
she
talking over
belongs,
him.
They used her as a sacrificial lamb. And that blood spilt from the lamb is basically where all of that hatred stews.
Oh, okay. So, okay. I get you now. Now, you said your mama was a prostitute.
Tasha trying to keep a straight face.
Where'd you hear that from?
Originally, the prostitute line was something that I came up with myself.
She
because
said it.
in 2023,
Okay.
in I believe February
2023, y'all.
or late January.
Okay.
This was in the time me and my mother were in contact with Miss Legina Gold at the time.
Okay.
At the South Side.
The one who said that she's Aaliyah's daughter.
Okay.
Okay. She said
Yes.
she's Aaliyah R. Kelly's
Yeah.
daughter.
She said Common put his dick on her face while
do
she
not
was
know
asleep.
the full details on it myself, so I will not give my word on it. But to whomever she belongs to, it does not matter. She is another person. She is another person like me and like mother and everyone else.
They developed a friendship.
Okay, go ahead.
She admitted to us on that one particular day on the south side of Lamar in Dallas, the one apartment place with all the music, with all the studios, and right down the street from Zalat Pizza. She admitted to me, from her own words, of an instance of adultery that she committed while she was still married to my father.
Oh,
but I've been lying.
Oh, and what was that?
I do not know the person whom she was with at the time, and she did not say the date
Pick
or
a
the
nigga.
year when it happened.
Okay.
Pick a
But
nigga.
she told me that she did it. Whether that was a boast or whatnot, I cannot say for certain, but I'm willing to bet that she has.
Pick a
And
nigga.
apparently, from what I've seen, having been dug up as of more recently, apparently she has prostituted herself multiple times in the past. I cannot confirm since I haven't heard the full details, but
you have, y'all.
I have heard the word across the street. And I have even heard of an instance where my mother was live one time when she exposed her naked breast online.
I ain't
for the
seen that.
internet to see.
I don't know nothing about
There was
that.
even an instance where my mother was naked underneath the moonlight, like she were from Twilight.
I don't know
a
nothing about
werewolf.
that. I can't confirm that. I would have
Could
threw
you
up.
imagine how disgusted I
You
must
know,
have
Trevor.
been inside at the time?
I can't
hearing
imagine
these things.
you see your mama naked.
Ugh.
See, people got to understand these kids are affected.
And you got to think about Jaguar Wright's
I
body.
can tell that affected you. You saying that with so much.
Y'all saw Jaguar Wright in that hot tub wading across the pool when Solar was online. Not Solar, when Goomba was on live with Sean Davy Way with his titties out. And y'all saw Jaguar in the background wading across the pool, pulling all that water with her. Ugh. Who said I was lying? Listen, honey, you got to see some of these comments I had to fight during that time. Girl, I was a hater. I was hating on Jaguar Wright.
Much passion.
Girl.
It's absolutely disgusting. And so I basically,
Thank you, Visions.
I basically
Girl.
committed. Basically, from there, the belief was basically true. She was effectively a succubus.
What is
She
that?
wanted to be a
A
succubus.
succubus,
She couldn't
a
possibly.
night demon, whose only methods of survival is by draining the sexual energies of man.
But I gotta
Basically, carnal
correct him on
desire.
one thing. Succubuses are actually A, desirable, and B, convincing. That man was like, I don't want nothing you got. Here, take this beef patty, get the fuck out my shop.
And they do not care whom it is with.
Not a dartboard.
But they can switch across their body to be whomever it is. Man, woman, anyone else in between, does not matter.
And she'd be out at the lake behind Erykah Badu's house in the early morning hours, and people would be like, oh, she looks glorious. She looks so beautiful. That's the Jaguar I love. And I'd be like, y'all don't realize that's another personality? That's Suzette. That's a whole different person. By noon, she was back to her old boorish self. Visions ain't gone nowhere. She just been hanging out in the background.
My mother lives off of a similar energy, but not solely of the sexual desire.
What energy is that?
Well, it's hard to fully decipher because it's a coalescence of many.
What I
However,
tell you.
To say that this energy is nonetheless a demonic one and is a cyst is basically self-evident.
Boy, your mama just got
has
bad
leached
character.
money off of many people.
Including your grandma.
Those who had, forgive me for saying this, foolishly given it to her in spite of all of her wrongdoings.
Foolishly.
As well as taking the money from her own mother.
What I
before
tell
she
you.
passed.
So I have not been lying about her stealing her mother's Social Security money. I have not been lying about that. I never was. I told y'all they would travel at the same time every month. I told y'all they gonna lay low for a couple weeks. Before you know it, they'll be back out on the road again because Miss Francis is gonna get her Social Security again. Adult Protective Services was watching Jaguar. At one point, they wouldn't let her touch her mama's money because they were investigating her. I'm not a liar. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I don't waste my energy coming on here pinpointing and identifying these things when it's not impactful and it's not necessary. I know what I'm doing. Y'all know what you're doing. There may not be a whole bunch of people saying what needs to be said, but if enough of us say it and enough of us do it the way it needs to be done, I told you, we put our foot on that woman's neck. We put her in a box, and every time she pop out, I'll be like, you can only go this far. But when y'all know, every so often I'll say something about Jaguar. I'll put up an old video about Jaguar because she done pop back up again. But when those two videos came up and she was misconstruing the facts of those clips, I was like, okay, let's get back to work.
Now, she's told me on many occasions that the money that she made was from Philadelphia.
Couldn't be.
But that's not true. She was getting that from grandma.
Yes, she was.
Her retirement fund, the pension that she was getting, because her husband, my grandfather Norman, was a former Marine.
Yep.
Her 401k.
Yep.
She got that all from her, and the extra money she can siphon from Gerald.
And his grandfather had a settlement because something happened while he was alive or that caused his death or something like that, and her mom was getting the money, and Jaguar was such a bully and a liar. I say was in the past tense. I like to talk about people like that sometimes. Forgive me.
So she got money off of you too?
Let me see. Was there a time that I gave, I guess there were instances where I did give money.
Well, I mean, y'all remember that time they were sitting in the bed in the hotel room the day she got arrested the fourth time when they were in Louisiana. That morning they were sitting in the hotel and she made him tell a story about being sexually assaulted at school while she collected cash apps online from people to asking for cash apps while he told his story and made him. He was like, I don't really want to talk about this right now. And she made him. And she was like, hit the cash app, y'all. Hit the cash app. I wonder if he's made that connection yet, because I sure did. There weren't very many people subscribed to Philadelphia, but there weren't none paying $9.99 a month for nothing. Because I kept track of that site. It wasn't nothing. And the site is defunct now. It ain't nothing there. Desired or required. Go ahead, Sam.
I'm talking about, but she wasn't drawing a check for you?
She wasn't drawing a check for me, nor has she ever done so since I've been apart from her and I started making my own money. And she never will.
Okay. And so basically you're saying that she was stealing money from your grandma, your late grandma.
Yes. Stealing. Effectively siphoning from her.
Not buying her no insulin.
Okay. But you got... Okay, so back to the hotel when you guys were basically evicted out of the apartment, and you went to the hotel and your mom was arrested on live for that. Like, you guys were hungry that day. And it was I talked to Sean David Way, and I've seen videos of him where he was really emotional about what he had seen, and he couldn't believe the conditions in which you and your grandmother were living based off of your mom doing videos all day and was collecting your grandmother's check.
Yeah. Suffice to say,
but she had
my
new
mother
braids.
Is terrible with spending. A common symptom amongst some celebrities.
She had the new
She's
braids,
not very good
though.
with handling her wealth, and she likes to spend it on a couple of things, a lot, and not in the things that matter, but in the things that she desires. Which has led to many instances where she kept the money to herself, and there isn't much money left for the rest of us to basically split it when it comes to groceries.
But didn't she go to that beef patty shop and say she had a whole house full of people to feed and she needed a platter? So where you want to go so we could, cause you know I gotta make this money. I was about to turn that trick. Ain't that what she said? I was gonna turn that trick. Oh, Jesus. Ooh, is that a fact, sugar? That's dangerous. She wanted Sam and Legina to get married and have a baby. That's exactly what she said. She was trying to hook them up. I guess so she was going to have Legina go get an apartment that she could live in. Remember? And I was like, Legina, don't you go get no goddamn apartment. Don't you get no apartment in Dallas. You take your ass back to Detroit And if you can get an apartment there, I know you just got evicted from a home in Detroit, but if you can get a place to stay in Detroit, you take your ass back. Where is Legina now?
You guys were hungry and homeless because she couldn't budget.
Yes.
Okay. You got a folder in your hand. What's in the folder?
Oh, God.
I thought that I'd basically show some things to you. Maybe some things I made a while. But
Like receipts?
unfortunately, no receipts. I
No,
haven't captured
art.
anything from the time. But basically,
He wants to share his art.
I have the original drawing that captures everything that I view that my mother has become.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
I have a more quality version that I adapted into a
This
digital.
is a demon.
That
Wow.
is a succubus.
Okay. And this is an angel.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
To
crazy.
put it in full visualization for everyone to articulate.
Okay.
The olive leaf extract can
That's
reverse
sad,
high blood
man.
pressure and
I got
diabetic
you.
high blood sugar, or the sugar.
That is sad, man.
Was when she was completely filled with love and not enough discipline.
Oh. So basically spoiled.
Yes. Spoiled. Hence the narcissism. It may not be medically stated, but it is effectively true. This is egotism in its
Yep.
fullest form.
Grandiose.
mostly. Articulated from one being.
Okay.
Yep.
She has been stranded in an abyss that she has cast herself into.
That's called
all
hell.
this time. And in my digital formulation, that abyss is much more articulated. And she is floating in front of very olden teeth. The teeth of the spiritual beast Leviathan, the primordial aquatic beast
Wow.
God had sent down from heaven. And for those of you of the religious sects who know this, you know what that means when my mother is in front of those jaws. But for those who don't, it is long speculated that in the spiritual world, the
Yep.
Leviathan
She was
maw serves
But Jaguar would give her mama, she collect cash apps or whatever. I'm sure her mother got some type of government assistance too. She would let her mother eat whatever she wanted to. Because I do believe they had a codependent relationship to a certain degree. She would let her mama eat Whataburger, her words, not mine, and a Coca-Cola. And then her mother be in the background. My daughter got mad at me tonight because, what did I tell her I was going to make her for dinner? Oh, she wanted some noodles, some ramen noodles, which have absolutely no nutritional value. And I made some lamb and green beans, and she was mad. I said, girl, if you don't sit down and eat this food, it's my job as your mother to feed you nutritional food, not just what you want. When you wake up in the morning with a stomach ache because you got no nutrition from these damn noodles, then you're going to be mad. Jaguar didn't care about her mother. She didn't care for her mother. She let herself get evicted, and they came and I blame the police as well, because they came and checked on her mama. She didn't have no insulin, and they still let her mama live with her. I didn't see that whole thing about that spoiled food, but I heard about it. And sometimes them old people like to hold on to some food, man. They'll hold on to some food, especially the older ones with a scarcity mindset. They'll hold on to some food, man. But I blame Officer, what was his name? That came and checked on Miss Francis. Because while Jaguar was having her mother going around looking for the pocketbook, people were calling Adult Protective Services on Jaguar while she was live. So the police came out to check on her mother. Her mama didn't have no insulin, not a drop. But they still let her mother stay with her. Her mother was like, oh, I'll be fine. Oh, I'll be fine. How you got a 70-something-year-old woman in your care who has diabetes and doesn't have any insulin, and you letting her eat Whataburger and shit? She didn't care about her mama. She would leave her mother for days to go up and down the road trying to get crawfish and shit. What's up, J-Rock? Welcome in. This might be a new topic for you, honey.
As the entrance
This
to
might be
hell
new.
itself. My mother is basically floating right in front of it. But she's not swimming away. Why? Because there is a mirror of Tenebris, a fell reflection that is portraying to her her ideal world. The
Delusion.
angel that she once was,
Delusion.
all grown up, singing the hymns of God like she were an angel. Thus
Delusion.
keeping her trapped down there.
See, and I always say, I don't believe, I'm a seminarian. I have a master's degree from a seminary in divinity. I've learned hermeneutics and exegetism and eisegesis and everything you need to understand the Bible. I'm very well understanding of it. Have written enough papers to know there's no S at the end of Revelation. Okay? And I honestly believe hell is a place that you trap yourself in. It's up here. When you're stuck, I'm gonna make this relevant for all the different people in here. When Jedediah Brown has to keep scamming, has to keep stealing, has to keep scamming, has to keep stealing, that's hell. When I'm able to ascend to different heights and understand different things and go different places and learn different things and have different healings and different revelations and different understandings, that's heaven. And there is an understanding that people want to reject that is made famous by Masonic culture that says as above, so beneath. It's a satanic principle. As above, so beneath. As what's happening right here in your mind, so what happens in the earth that you live in. You create your own reality. I don't believe that a person can be sent to hell or can be sent to heaven. I believe it's where you are right now. I've been in hell before. I've been in a place in my mind where I was in a constant cycle. Those things sometimes are called karmic cycles. I've been in that state before. Hold on, let me check my live because it feels weird. Okay. My daily reminder that I manifest effortlessly, honey, aligning myself with time and space just came up on my phone. But I've been in hell. I've been in a place where I was constantly in this cycle. They call them karmic cycles. I've been in these places before. And those things have had to be broken. I've had to have experiences with people in my lifetime and say, you know what? I'm grateful that we had this experience. In my next lifetime, you are not allowed to meet me again. This manifestation of you, I will never ever encounter again. Or this mindset, this thing I'm stuck in, this idea, this habit, this desire, this thing I keep submitting to. No, we're not doing that no more. So I understand where he's coming from with the spiritualization of it, but a lot of that is a figment of imagination. When you really break it down as an adult and you really understand what's happening, I've told you guys before, I'm gonna make it real plain. I tell this story all the time because I learned a lot from this story. When my boyfriend and I in China, it was the eve of Chinese New Year, and we were trying to catch a taxi. And, we these rich foreigners, right? Because we are, and they want to take advantage of us. The taxi wants to charge us more than it's supposed to because it's the eve of a holiday. And I told my boyfriend, pay him. He want to overcharge us for this taxi. He got to ride this taxi all night. We going somewhere else to party. Let him stay in this perpetual state because one of these motherfuckers gonna whoop his ass because he keep overcharging people. Not only that, he has to continue to do that. I tell my students, if you cheat, you're just telling the universe you dumb. You're not willing to learn in order to succeed. You're allowing yourself to fall into the trap. If you steal, you're telling the universe how you'll receive it. When I lived in Arizona and I had just moved from China to America, and I literally was walking down the street like, okay, what's my next move? What am I about to do? How am I going to get into this next bag? And this man drove up to me and propositioned me for prostitution. I had to make a decision in that moment. Now, first of all, I'm worth a whole lot more than what he could have been offering. Okay? But I also know that I'm educated and I know my worth. Okay? What he was offering me was what I make in an hour in my work. Okay, so what I would have had to do was continue to do that thing in order to make that money. Continue to do that thing in order to, I was like, okay, so I have to see this in a particular way. The bag wants me, it's up to me how I get it. So it's very important, and I'm just going to go into this conversation because I am who I am. It's very important to understand that this whole idea of heaven and hell and angels and demons, man, it's so fluid, it's not even funny. You can go into a parallel reality just like that. Just like, y'all, I was sitting here falling asleep 17 minutes ago, wasn't I? I quickly perked up when I got my peach tea and my double shot of that Vernata. Okay? That's espresso. So I mean, I love Sam, but he's over religiousizing and over spiritualizing it to a point where it becomes a perpetual state where a person can't escape from, and that's not the truth. That's not the truth. You can set yourself free. Heaven and hell is in the mind. It is literally up here. Everything is up here. It's all up here. Heaven is up here. Okay, if you want to break free from something or stop doing something or I mean, I can't take you through the whole process right here, right now on this live, but I'm literally telling you, it ain't a God or a Jesus in the world that's gonna save you. And the devil told me to tell you he ain't gonna save you either. I hear you, nigga. He ain't gonna save you either. All he could do is give you some instruction, and it's up to you to follow it. Okay. This whole perception of angels and demons and the devil, demons work for me. They work for me. All they want is acknowledgement and instruction. If you don't tell them what to do, they're going to run amok just like animals. If you don't put animals to work, they will tear up your house. If you don't give them something to do, a ball, a water bottle or something, they're going to tear up your house. But as soon as you give them something to put that energy and that essence into, they will work for you and get amazing things done. When I tell you what I know, that's why one of my other channels is called Dayla the Demon Whisperer. When Dalton tried to say I was a demon worshiper, bitch, please. Don't ever insult me that way. I'm a demon whisperer. So I'm going to let him talk his shit, but I also have to talk mine because it's very important to understand. Jaguar Wright is not in hell in a spiritual sense. This is not a spiritual issue. This is not an issue of demons. This is an issue of Jaguar Wright's, I wrote it right here, bad character. Bad character. She has bad character. Break it down, make it simple, make it practical. She don't need no exorcism. She don't need no shamdala hakorobosa terediosa. She don't need none of that. She don't need none of that. She needs to make a decision that she has obviously the propensity of influence, obviously the propensity to make money, obviously the propensity to go places. Well, not on a plane and not in an Uber and not by Lyft. And maybe not even on a train or by Greyhound. But she has it. But it's all about the way you choose and decide to get it. I can sit here and beg y'all all night for cash. Can you give me a cash? Somebody send me a cash. Cash at me this. Cash at me that. I wanted to fund my channel so it wouldn't be such a burden on me. So I created a product that you can purchase called Patreon. And those who want it have it. And whatever's left over, I cover out of my own pocket. It ain't that big of a deal. But understand, the fame always comes before the fortune. But that damn Jaguar Wright, it ain't no all these super spiritual terms, a cat of nine tails and a mirror of Thebes and all that bullshit. No, I'm sorry. Your mama got bad character. She might just need her ass whooped. Many kids do.
Her vocal cords stripped away and given to an irreprobate mind. That is whom Jaguar Wright is. I'm
going to explain that reprobate mind because I do believe that that's a state that she's in, but I don't believe it's permanent. If you grew up in the church, especially the black church, you heard oftentimes about God will turn you over to a reprobate mind. A reprobate mind is a mind where you do what you ought not do and you can't get away from it. That's called a life of addiction, bad habits. That's hell. But you can break free from that. I mean, once you understand how powerful your mind is, there's nothing that can keep you from anything that you're supposed to have, from what's for your best and highest good. But Jaguar Wright won't do the shadow work. She won't face herself. I got into a professional battle with somebody recently, and every once in a while, I play this little game where in my mind, I'll be like, yep, you won. You got this. Congratulations. Just so I can stop battling with it in my mind. Yep, you won. You got me. Good job. Because everything works out for me. Everything works out for me. What I desire always comes into fruition, and I don't have to lie, steal, cheat, fuck, suck, none of that. None of that. Not none of that. But she's obviously got the ability. The reprobate mind is a religious concept that says you can be placed in a situation God will allow you. Now, whoever that is up to you. But God will allow you to be a slave of your sin where you can't get out of it. That's just personal decisions. You just get in bad habits. That's why I'm like, she 49 years old behaving like this? She just got caught stealing $30,000 worth of goods in 2024. She turned 50 last year. 50. Is that a reprobate mind? It could be, but could she change her mind? Yeah. So I'm gonna let him talk his religious shit, but please understand that that's all a figment of your imagination. And if you rocking over here, then I have to let you know. That's why I had to get with old boy earlier when he was talking about Satanists, and I was like, you have no idea what Satanists really are, honey. She wants to be the victim and the villain at the same time, and you just can't be. Not when I'm watching.
While the mirror is what she thinks she is, and what at least I can articulate.
She's delusional.
A imperfect articulation of Jacqueline Suzette Wright.
She's delusional. She done lied to herself all these years.
You just taught me something today.
She having a hard time with failure, but we've had that conversation before.
And never discipline the kid.
This is what becomes of them.
Yeah.
Love, as beautiful as it is a very meticulous, double-edged dance.
Love disciplines too.
It is a rose, a beautiful flower.
A rose. I love
that
it.
is protected by thorns. And too much of something can turn into a bad thing. And depending on what it is, it can either be something very light that can be cured, or an insidious, vile, serpentine poison that can corrupt a person for as long as their life allows them, if no one stops them.
As long as their life allows them.
Too much love is what turned my mother into the demoness.
No, that's not love. That's your mom and daddy not wanting to face the fact that they had sick relatives who sexually abused her. So instead of dealing with the issues, they pacified it. Let's be honest, Sam. Let's be honest. You may not even know that part. Okay? That's not love. Love chastens. Love is balanced. Love is disciplined. I love my daughter. That's why I made her lamb and green beans for dinner. And it was fire. And she is, can I save some of the lamb for tomorrow? Because it's so good. I want to have some for lunch. Okay. I will, sugar. I actually have another channel called Daylight the Demon Whisperer where I get into some of this shit. I haven't gone live on there like I go live on here, but I definitely should. I appreciate you for saying that. Thank you for that encouragement. But love, as a parent, says, I know that you had an experience that was horrible at the hands of my family. So let me remove you from this situation and let me place you into some therapy and some counseling. Now, I think I told my daughter one day, she had experienced something. I had done something that upset her. I can't remember what it was now, to be honest with you. But I apologized to her. We made it right. And I told her, I was like, now, this don't mean that you could just get away with what you want just because I feel bad about what happened. I think I had not been paying her enough attention in our transition from here to Korea, from America to Korea. I focused a whole lot of my attention on my job and what I had to do and the things that I had to do to get here. So there were times where she felt ignored and she started to resent me for it. And I realized it. So I apologized and I made it right, and I made a commitment to her to give her the attention that she needed and the time that she needed. I said, but that don't mean you could just act a fool now. Because mama loves you, but mama still gonna get with you. I don't believe that love is just what he's misconstruing love for brushing shit under the rug. Okay, her parents didn't love her in a healthy way. They brushed shit under the rug so they didn't have to combat their family about how nasty they were. Okay,
that her persona is now. All of the wrongdoings that she has done. The abuse, whipping me with an extension cord. Oof. For trying to vent out her frustration for her father dying.
That's crazy.
The manipulation, trying to turn me against my own family. Trying to put my grandmother, Tina, into a troubling situation with the cops in Plymouth meeting. Trying to get me down to her. The crimes she has committed, from simple misdemeanors to
federal
being on a wanted
crimes.
list in Grand Prairie.
Uh-huh.
The horrid physical abuse and rueful fear she inflicted upon my brother.
Now, what's she gonna turn this clip into to blame P. Diddy? How's she gonna splice this little moment of a clip that's now back out there into to put it on P. Diddy to try to gain some relevance? Did she really think they were gonna call her up to testify? She's not a credible witness. And she ain't been in the music industry in decades. And when she wasn't impactful. Go ahead, Sam.
Awful elder abuse she put Grandma Frances through.
Oh my God.
Especially in that one call that I heard when my Aunt Lachelle wanted Frances to speak to Mom before she died, and referred, and in Jaguar's bitter hatred, referred to her elder sister and her mother as a bitch.
Wow.
That most certainly broke her heart.
Wow.
That is all the insidious things that she is.
That ain't all of it. That's some of it, though. She done threatened to kill her ex-husband's nieces and nephews.
If she is not stopped, if you are not stopped, mother, if you do not stop running away,
listen, Jack.
Stop swimming around in that abyss of yours.
Listen,
looking
Jack.
in that mirror, you will be swallowed by Leviathan, and you will join Lucifer.
No, you won't, because Lucifer don't want shit to do with you. Let me clear that up for Sam. Lucifer told me to tell you you can't sit next to him. Okay? Because he's a light bearer. He is a bearer of truth, wisdom, and understanding. No. He ain't got no taste for a bitch like you. Let's be clear. Let's not Europeanize who Lucifer is. Okay? He is a light bringer. You couldn't sit with my nigga. Okay? I sit with my nigga and you couldn't sit with me. No. Let me clarify for you what Sam is trying to tell you, mother. If you continue in this situation the way that you are, you're going to drive your own self crazy. And ain't nobody going to give a fuck when you die. There you go. That's what he meant to say.
Of Megiddo in the Armageddon. Me, Giovanni, your mother, your father, your sisters, all of us, we will have to shed tears knowing that you will be abandoned to the fires of Armageddon, to be purged and burned away with the devil and the rest of those swayed by him.
Well, now, Armageddon almost happened last week, so I don't know about that. Sam, you got to come out. Some people are so heavenly minded, they're no earthly good. You got to talk to your mama in real words, because all this Europeanized spirituality is not real, honey. We got to speak to her character. We got to speak to her bad habits. You got to speak to the fact that your mother wears a diaper and gets arrested 4 times a year and can't keep her hands to herself and feels the need to constantly have male attention, to validate her existence. That ain't got nothing to do with the devil, because I rock with the devil regularly on a daily basis, and I don't feel the need to be hugged up with no nigga for attention. I'm not stealing. I'm not thieving. I'm not lying. I'm not cheating. I could sit down with anybody and not be in fear. I go into government offices in different parts of the world without fear. I was able to fly to London for a birthday trip for my daughter and come back. 2 customs, never had an issue. 2 TSAs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Went through TSA 4 times and never got into a fight with anybody. Never got arrested. And the devil is my dude, my homie. So let's not put him in it. He said he ain't got nothing to do with that. He said if you gonna call him anything, call him Bennett, because he ain't in it. That's what he told me to tell you. I got you. It's poetic though.
I love you as mother to son. But as a person, I could never stand behind a demonic prostitute.
You can't.
Especially one who has learned the ways of witchcraft.
She don't know nothing about witchcraft. She don't know witchcraft.
And
let me tell you, Sam.
God's word to your own
let me tell you about your mama, Sam. Your mama don't know witchcraft. Okay? Your mama might have learned some of this and some of that, but those of us who know witchcraft know that love is the highest power. There is no energy, no reverberance, no nothing, no essence. There is nothing in this dimension that's more powerful than love. The devil knows that. And your mother doesn't operate in love. She doesn't know witchcraft. What you think is witchcraft isn't witchcraft. It's just mean bitches. If your mother knew witchcraft, we wouldn't be having this conversation about her. I promise you. Because the witches that I know, when we have conversations, it's like, love will take care of that. Love is the highest power. Love is love, joy, peace, and what is it? There's one right above it. These are the highest powers. We operate in the highest powers. We understand the highest powers. What your mother operates in is not love, joy, or peace. She doesn't know anything about witchcraft. Witchcraft is a craft. In order to do witchcraft, you got to get down with yourself. Excuse me, because there are no morals to magic. I feel like I need to tell you that and whoever else is listening. There are no morals, to magic. Morals are a societal concept. But if your mother truly understood witchcraft, thank you. If your mother truly understood witchcraft, she wouldn't have to steal, babe. Because I understand witchcraft. Thank you for peace and prosperity. More, please. That's witchcraft. I just did a art of scripting where I wrote something down in ink and I said it out loud. So I added a vibration to the atmosphere. That's witchcraft. Your mama don't know nothing about that. Your mama don't even say thank you. Don't mix her up with us, okay? Don't do that, because it is us who's keeping your mama in a box like she's supposed to be. It's us that freed Legina from her grasp. It's us that freed you and Gerald from her grasp. Don't mix your mama up with us. She can't sit with us, baby. I'm telling you, you gotta un-Europeanize your spirituality so you can really understand this thing for what it is. Your mother is not a witch. She could not sit with us. We are divine beings who understand our masculine and our feminine and our light and our shadow, and we sit with ourselves. We don't get in fights. Have you ever heard of the devil getting in a fight? It ain't one fight. I have a girlfriend who's Muslim. And she told me the other day, she's like, I'm Muslim, girl. Quit talking to me about the devil. Because she found herself agreeing with me about some shit we were talking about. But I constantly, in any spiritual system that there is, you never hear about the devil getting in a fight. Ever. Never, ever had to battle. You hear about one that might happen one day off into the future, but you ain't never heard about the devil getting into a fight. Understand what light is. Sam, your mama ain't one of us, okay? I resent that. I rebuke that notion. She probably could be if she got right. But your mother could never sit among witches, because if she sat with us long enough, she would break. And I don't mean in a bad way. I don't mean in a bad way. If your mother sat with us long enough, the realism of who we are and how we've come into an acknowledgement of ourselves, and we're not ashamed of who we are, and we love ourselves and we love the people around us, and we flow in such effervescent manifestation, and we've understood how to make this thing work, and we win without having to do all the dips and the tricks. Your mother would be like, she would probably cry like a baby. She would most likely cry like a baby if she sat with me or somebody else like me. If she sat in my presence, she would either get angry and she'd want to fight, or she'd break like a baby. One or the other. Do you understand? I hope you do, because you don't understand how we get down. Witches don't operate like your mother. She doesn't know anything about. You got to understand, witchcraft is an art. It's a science. We don't have to go on and beg for cash apps. We don't have to steal. I can all night put up posts that other people place asking you for cash apps and never ever ask for one myself. And I'm grateful for what you give. We don't ever have to. We have an ability and an essence and a power that is unseen, that is so phenomenal and so above what you think witchcraft is. We ain't sitting around no bowls with big noses and warts, talking about Kim de la Lee, Kim de la La. No, we understand what abracadabra means. Abracadabra means, so I speak, so it is. We understand these things. We understand how to meditate and harness our minds and focus on the things that are above, not the things that are beneath. Okay? Let me just clear that up. I might have to clear up some more shit.
Of the cohorts of Samael.
Oh my God.
The poison of God.
Baby, come down.
Don't even try to stop me in my endeavors. I know what you're going to try and do. You're going to try and bring up the AI thing again.
What
and
AI
like I
thing?
said with Sean Davy Way, I'll say it here now. Those who dare dismiss my words, my brain, my thought, my soul as nothing but an artificial fabrication, see yourself out. Your brain
Somebody said he was AI.
Far too disheveled and withered.
Thank you, Amanda.
To engage in this very touching situation.
Who said he was
This
AI?
is why family matters. Stay within the family. You want to bring up all of these things in public? All of these personal things that happen, these little falsifications of stories of what happened when you quote unquote got You want to bring up the abuse that happened in your childhood, all the mistreatment from your siblings when you were the one who was pampered? You want to bring all of this to light? Then that gives us the green light to be able to inflict that exact same thing on you.
No, it doesn't, though.
Truth.
Not really, Sam. You got to stay in a child's place, honey.
I can be your crusader, mother. But if you want to test my patience, I can very well be a demon slayer to you.
Oh my God.
And by demon slayer, in video game terms, I refer to myself as the Doom Guy on Mars, slaughtering demons with a shotgun.
Oh my God, baby. This isn't a video game.
And Jaguar Wright is a fully established demoness. So you know what that means. I can be that, or I could be a paladin to cleanse you of those sins and bring you back into the light.
There's no such thing as sin.
Is
Sam,
to walk the full path of repentance.
Sam, you are, let me tell you something, Sam. I love you to pieces. I have loved you for a very long time, so let me be honest with you. You are so at war and so full of hostility and animosity about who your mother is that you're afraid you'll become her. And the best thing that you can do is face that and be like, okay, I see it. I see where I could be a little, okay, I see that. Let me deal with that. Let me deal with me. Let me come to terms with me. Let me do some shadow work with me. Oh, thank you, Amanda. I appreciate that. Let me deal with me. You don't fight demons, honey. You assign them. All demons are, what people call demons, are energies without an assignment that make people uncomfortable. That's it, baby. Once you acknowledge those demons, give them a little piece of candy every once in a while, give them an assignment, you'll be fine. And you ain't got to deal with your mama. So I don't know why you got all this hostility toward her anyway. All this vitriol toward your mama. When you make your own money and you pay your own bills, you ain't got to fuck with her. So why you even allowing yourself to get into this deep and dark place when exactly, attachments. No, really, it's fear. It's fear that she'll manifest in him, that who she is and those same traits and those same characteristics will manifest in him instead of dealing with it. Attachments. Just be disappointed and move the fuck on. She wasn't who you thought she was. You know, my mom and daddy told me when I was younger, and I've said this before. I think I said it last October. As I was dealing with another karmic cycle breaking, my mother and father told me all parents are people who had sex. That's it. That's it. Sometimes, for some reason, some parents lift themselves up to be these holy, godlike beings, and then when you find out that's not who they are, your whole world is crashed. My parents did that too, but they also said all parents are people who fucked. We just fucked unprotected. It could have happened. It could have not have happened. You could have been here. You could have not been here. My mama had 2 miscarriages before me. I could have been either one of them. I had 5 miscarriages before my daughter. So when you come to the understanding, and I'm speaking to Sam, but I'm speaking to all of us at the same time, because Sam represents a lot of us. When you come to the understanding that your parents are imperfect, especially if you're in a place where you don't have to fuck with them, it ain't no need to get into this place. I could be a demon slayer. I could just not fuck with you. I could just not fuck with you. I could just go on with my life and enjoy my good life and my good times, get some therapy. It's only $35 an hour, and make sure that I'm healed from my own children. Because if not, you will have these same issues come up when you do decide to have children. You'll have to face this stuff at some point, and your mother can't be your enemy. You can't, not if you as holy and now as you say you are. You got to make peace with it and be like, you know what? My mom's pretty fucked up. But you know what? She provided me with some pretty cool gifts. Some pretty cool understandings. A pretty cool anointing in this area. Or a good this or a good that. When you have that kind of peace, who your mother is won't become a battlefield for you. And that's when you'll understand what love really is. But as long as you keep battling with your mother and the attachment that you have, what you need to do is, like J Rock said, detach completely. It ain't gotta be no dramatic moment. It ain't. I know you play video games a lot. My ex-husband used to too. So like these moments, these stories would come through. No, baby, it's just my mama's calling. Nope. We're not gonna do that today. I'm not gonna talk to her today. I'll call her when I feel like it. I'll talk to her when I feel like it. I'll set the boundaries I feel like are appropriate for me and for mine. Okay? She don't gotta know where you live. You don't gotta do no bunch of interviews. If you say things should be handled within the family, handle them in the family, and don't go talking to Tasha K. Okay? Because I guarantee you she ain't pay you what she paid Gina. And I'm not talking about little Gina. I'm talking about I'm just gonna call her 50 Cent's baby mama. Damn. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call her. Damn. Yeah, okay, she's not a Jane Doe. Okay, 50 Cent's baby mama. No. P. Diddy's baby mama. That's the other one. Damn it, I just got it all confused. Now I know who I'm talking about. I had to unravel it for a second because they look alike to me. Both of them, Jane Doe and Gina, look exactly alike to me. Maybe that's because I live in Korea, but I guarantee you Tasha K didn't pay you what she paid P. Diddy's baby mama. So go unravel that stuff with a therapist, honey. All this, you in the vials of vitriol and the Armageddon of diabetes. Man, please. Those are words that were made up, honey. None of that shit existed 900 years ago. Okay? Okay? Real talk, real shit. Your mama is fucked up. It's a whole lot of stuff about her that would embarrass the fuck out of me if she was my mama. Okay? But you don't have to be her. You don't have to fight her. You can just go on with your life. You had an amazing opportunity to do some amazing things that you fucked up that had nothing to do with her. Now you got an amazing opportunity to do it again. Put your energy into what feeds you, what serves you, what makes you a better man for the world. May all beings benefit. When you get to that place where all this other stuff doesn't matter, that's when you'll really be able to feel love. Because right now you don't even feel love. Love to you is an enemy because you feel like if you feel love, or if a person loves you too much, or if you love somebody too much, they'll turn you, or you'll turn them into your mama. You haven't even made peace with love. You're at war with love. Baby, you haven't even accepted or known really what love is, because you've been a pawn in this game all your life between your mama and your daddy. So you gotta calm down. You gotta breathe. You gotta chill. You might need some pussy. I heard you say you a grown man in all senses of the word. I know what that means. You done finally got some pussy. I understand what that means. You might need some more. Cause honey, chill out. Okay? Please continue.
For all the things that you have done.
You better repent, Jaguar. This boy
acknowledge the wrongs that you have committed. The crimes that you have done. The evasions of taxes over the years from leeching money from other people.
She might not never do that. Mother,
and from the people whom you marry into. All of the slander you've thrown against your kind sister, your kindred family, who you spilled the blood of for years. And for that whipping that you gave me for venting frustration, unjust frustration, with an aux cord that could have given me a bleeding injury if you struck with the head of it. Back in 2009, when I was 7 years old.
He is still baby. That's the year right there. That 7th year, man, I tell you, if you know, you know. That's who creates who you are, that 7th year. I protected my daughter with everything I had. I made sure, and I'm not saying I did it perfectly because I'm not perfect, but I knew that 7 year would be very integral to who she would be as a woman. Our relationship, the relationship I built with her in her 7th year, was going to be very, very important to who she was as a woman. And honey, you just said you were an adult in all forms, but you're still holding on to a spanking that you received when you were 7. We all got our asses whooped at some point if we had black parents back then. And I can only guarantee you, your mama gave it to you worse because she's quite a bull. But you gotta heal. I didn't even know this was gonna turn into this. I can't stand your mama either. I think she's a whole lot of bad things. But damn, you can't let her pull you into such a dark place. You holding on to a whooping from when do you realize my daddy used to sit on my head while he whooped me? Our parents were just people who fucked. You want her to repent for a whooping she gave you when you were 7, Sam? You care more about that than you do about her stealing from her mama, or stealing from all these people, or lying on P. Diddy. Stealing from Legina, stealing from her ex-husband, fucking around on them, getting high off Bobby's fentanyl weed, putting your brother's ashes on strangers. So what is this really about, Sam? Baby, you got some healing to do. I pray that you get it, but I can't make it happen. Go ahead,
Grandpa
Sam.
Norman died after you effectively railroaded me and Giovanni to not go to that funeral.
Wow.
His funeral. These are things you must repent before you are freed from that reprobate mind.
Oh my God.
Because your soul is on the verge total.
But you can't decide, Sam. I'm 44 years old having a conversation with you, okay? You can't decide what a person has to do in order to be broken free from their own psychic prison. That's not up to you, okay? I'm going to be very clear with you. You can't decide when your mother is forgiven. You don't have that right. You don't have that kind of sovereignty. Only she does. Did you know that? You don't have that kind of power over her. If you do, it's called unforgiveness. And you lock yourself into that same karmic cycle. If you choose to believe that your mother is going to be in this same cycle of conning, stealing, pimping, and hoeing, conning, stealing, pimping, and hoeing, conning, stealing, pimping, and hoeing, until she asks you to forgive you for whooping you at 7, do you realize how you've entangled yourself? The word, I took it down and I meant to keep it up. Do you realize how you've entangled yourself with her psychosis? With her karma? I'm going to tell you what I'm sure you've heard other people say. Forgiveness ain't for her, it's for you. Letting go is not for her, it's for you. Okay? Because if you decide, if you feel like, oh, I'm this big nigga, I'm the HNIC, I can decide when you've repented enough or done enough or said enough or been good enough to decide when you can be free. Your mama will die a crackhead. It ain't up to you. It's really up to her. She could decide right now in this moment that, you know what, this life I've been living ain't doing nothing for nobody. And it's a bad cycle. She might have been smoking the wrong weed all these years. She really needs to get some of that blue dream. I'm going to write her a prescription. Okay. Well, she don't live nowhere where it's legal, so never mind. Neither do I, so never mind. But your mother has to make these decisions for her own life, and she ain't got to get your approval. She can decide, you know what, my son is not going to forgive me. We can't come to terms about these things. I'm going to go on with my life. Then you're going to feel like ass when she flourishes and prospers and receives the recognition she deserves and gets to learn how to control her vibrato and can sing with Marsha Ambrosia and not sound like she turning the whole song upside down. You understand what I'm saying? When your mother is able to heal and reinvest the money that she makes into her healing, when your mother is able to learn how to love people the way that they deserve to be loved and receive love the way that she deserves to receive love, she don't, nigga, who are you? Who are you? Your mama don't need your forgiveness to be free. Nigga, fuck you. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Respect.
Corruption from the hands of Lucifer.
Oh my God, girl. Please. I need a glass of wine too,
Don't
Tasha.
you dare try to say that I'm not your son anymore. I have that birth certificate that says that I am your son. That I'm the son of Jacqueline Suzette Wright and Samuel Douglas Odom. I can basically see how our conversations are going to go now.
This is some generational shit right here. What we are seeing unfold before our eyes in Sam's face, every single time I freeze the frame, this is a generational issue. This is older than him. He needs an Akashic healing, and so does his mother. You're not going to find that in the Bible. Okay? You might be able to find out more about it through ChatGPT. I recommend that you research it. He really does need to forgive the karmic cycles in his past lives and in his mother's past lives and in his generations that have led them here. Because this combative approach is not going to work. It's good for TV. It gets views. It's exciting, but for a healed, peaceful, loving, powerful, joyful person like me, we see right through it. We see right through it. I tell my daughter every day, like, sometimes you just got to accept people for who they are. Everybody ain't going to be who you expect them to show up as. Sometimes you just got to let people be who they are. People have a right to make a decision about whether they want to be your friend or not. And just because they choose not to be your friend don't mean you got to now have this battle axe against them. Everybody's not going to have a deep and fulfilling relationship with you like you want them to. Sam, you gotta grow the fuck up, honey. That's the real truth. When you have enough experiences in life that you realize the whooping you got at 7 wasn't the worst thing that happened. Yes, it was horrible. It was abusive. I'm sure. I don't doubt it. I've been there. I don't doubt it. But this vitriol that you have where you're cursing your mother to utter damnation, man, you do realize that the same energy you put out against other people, you are actually putting on yourself? Because that's how magic works. In order to be able to be powerful in energy, you got to be able to receive the same thing. That's why we witches know love is the highest power. But what you're doing right now is operating in witchcraft, if you want to talk about it. You're using the element of air to create a certain vibration and a certain energy that will change your mother's landscape. But I mean, you can't really control what she does. You gotta chill, dude. Go ahead, Sam.
Continue down this path. I boiled you down to that of a simple, non-playable character.
Okay,
villain.
Leave it at that then.
You're a second-rate person.
Then why is she getting so much energy from you? If your mother is an NPC, then why the fuck are you giving her all this negative energy? Why are you going down to the bottom of your energy? Why are you going down to the rage and the wrath and the sadness and the anger and the loathing? If your mother really doesn't matter that much, if she's just an NPC, then why the fuck are you giving her so much attention? Unless it's you that needs the attention. Unless you know that coming on this show and saying, Jaguar Wright is my mama, she ain't always been perfect. There's been some things about her that I've really appreciated and I've really loved. Overall, I'm just going to love her for who she is. Listen, I have to go on with my life. She goes on with her life. That's my mama. I love her to pieces, and I won't stop. Tasha K don't want to hear that shit, and you know it. That's why you keep looking at Tasha for validation as you talk. You keep looking over at her for validation as you talk, as your amen corner. The woman is pouring a glass of wine while you speaking. She's enjoying every moment of this. You, Sam, are making a huge mistake. And listen, I'm glad you speaking out about your mama and being honest about your mama. But as a God, I have to be honest with you. Okay? If she is an NPC, if she's a non-player character, if she's a non-motherfucking factor, then you shouldn't be on this platform talking about her. It should have been a quick no comment.
Can be simplistically be dissected and written out. And once again, to quote from my musical Bible, when it comes to regards about you,
Tasha done started drinking out the bottle.
No, it's calculated. I can even predict your angles. And I can see that you're being very silent now, seething in your hatred. You want to walk away from this, try and ignore the pain.
You got it, J-Rock.
You are not Aubrey Drake Graham. You have no popularity to hide away.
Not Drake.
Are we talking about right, Tasha? Are we talking about BBL Drizzy now? Okay, go ahead, baby.
You cannot hide away from this. You can't just stay silent and try to pretend that you're a better person.
Well, why can't she, Sam? Who the fuck are you? You done all this God talk, all this spirituality talk, but you think that you can hold unforgiveness against. Do you realize how that works? Read your Bible and understand how unforgiveness affects a person. That's something we definitely agree on. Okay? Now, God says you have to repent in order for him to forgive you, but he tells us to forgive people whether they repent or not. Listen, I come under the understanding that fuck you, bye. Love you, bye. I'm grateful for the experience that we had. I'm glad we got to cross paths. Next lifetime, what she say, be like CC Peniston and keep on walking. Next lifetime, you going about your business. I'm glad we had this experience. I'm going to cut this karmic cycle right here. But do you realize that you don't hold your mother, Jacqueline Suzette Wright, born May 17, 1974, has every single right to move on with her life and act like she's better. Why can't she? Why can't she? She has every single right to wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm a better person today, and every day I'm getting better and better, and every day I'm getting better and better, and every day I'm getting better and better, and every day I'm getting better and better. And she don't need your validation for that to be true. And she don't need my validation for that to be true. The only reason we talk about her right now is because I see she's still on her bullshit. And I will continue to keep my foot on her neck until she gets off of it. I'm going by what I see. But if your mother shows different characteristics and she stopped lying about situations that happened 3 years ago as if they happened yesterday and putting shit on P. Diddy, who wouldn't accept that? Who are you? Who the fuck are you? Nigga, please. You gotta get off your high horse.
You need to actively change yourself now. You're coming up to 50.
She 50.
Prime time for a midlife crisis.
Oh, she had that already. Get in the
Look
car.
back upon your life.
Oh, Jesus.
Were all the things you did in this life worth it up till now? And when you do, when you finally take that mask off and see what's under those achievements.
What achievements?
Will you be proud of what you did? Or will you be rightfully abhorred as I am now?
Does it matter, honey? See, this is why we start this show by saying this is not a no judgment zone. We gonna say what we see. Jaguar, you gotta take some responsibility for how your son feels. But you don't owe him shit. Just do better. Just be a better person. Just be better. Stop lying on P. Diddy and everybody else. Stop making everything everybody else's fault. Really pray the macabre. But before you pray the macabre, you need to align your chakras. You don't need to be praying the macabre and you haven't aligned your chakras. Because there's a whole nother level of the macabre you may not even be aware of yet. It's not talked about. Because you haven't really aligned your chakras. You still down in your root chakra, honey. And that's not going to get you where you want to be. Okay? Love doesn't live in your root chakra. Love lives in your heart chakra. At the center. Okay? But you don't owe this boy anything for you to be better. You are not in a prison of your own habits because he doesn't forgive you. You are in a prison of your own habits because you continue the same actions and mentality over and over again. Do something different. One thing different tomorrow. Instead of getting up and drinking coffee with the black cup, drink it with the green cup. Start a new habit. Allow yourself to change a little different. We saw you got rid of them army pants and we're proud of you for that. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you got a little tea on another celebrity, keep it to yourself. Do something a little different. And over time, you'll watch your life change. Over time, you'll watch your energy change. And you won't be playing a character. It won't be Jacqueline and then Suzette and then Jaguar and then Diana. You'll be one consistent person who's always who you are. And it'll be better and better and better every day. And the money will flow and the blessings will flow and the adulation will flow and the accolades will flow and the acknowledgement will flow and your influence will flow and you'll be exactly who you think you are. You don't owe, he can't free you, honey. And I know you know that. He can't free you. You fessing up to a whooping you gave him when he was 7 years old is not going to have anything to do with what happens in these Fed cases that you got going on and the lies that you told about P. Diddy. Okay? You can make these decisions and they're just like that. You're a very powerful person. It's just a matter of where you put your power. You've been able to amass not wealth, but money quickly just by asking for it. You've been able to say to people, whether it's through a lie of a story or just by saying, I want some money. People want to give to you. People want to be under your influence. But you have to learn what to do with that. Okay? And you may learn it in the next lifetime. Who knows? It might be this lifetime. Who knows? But it definitely sure ain't at the hands of this boy. He don't have no power like that.
That was a lot. That was a lot, Deuce. That was a whole lot. And I know that
He need a hug.
I'm going to hell with your mother. I'm going straight to hell with your mother. You are an adult. And
because that Tasha K, you just spoke to her too, honey. Whether you know it or fucking not. But if somebody in that room who is a mother or a father needs to give him a hug, because he is hurting. He has not processed the disappointment that he's experienced. That's really what this boils down to. He's in pain. He's in pain. Poor guy. And that's where that narcissism comes from. Okay? Because whether he knows it or not, narcissism, people aren't born narcissists. Their parents create them. And it's not from over loving a child. All he has to do is Google to find out where narcissism comes from. Narcissism and empathy are two sides of the same coin. Empaths hate when I say that shit, but it's true. You either learn how to overmanage other people's moods so you don't get hurt, or you learn how to be ice cold and not care about a motherfucker and step all over people. Right now, in his mind, he is trying to overachieve and overexcel to prove that he's not like his mother. That's narcissism. That's a form of narcissism. I'm not calling him a narcissist, but I'm saying that's a form of narcissism. He has not let go. The same bondage he's putting her in, he's going to put himself in if he's not careful. Go ahead,
Put
Tasha.
you out on the internet. And you have a right to respond. And being that your mother isn't too fond of me, a lot of people are going to take this the wrong way. However, I am very fair. I've had your mother on this platform. She has said some things about you. She has said things about you on other platforms. So you have the right to respond back, regardless of how people view you or think of you. You still have a mind of your own. You make decisions on your own. You take care of yourself now. And it may not be what we're used to traditionally, but you know, your feelings are still valid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not invalidating your feelings. I got to tell you, this is going to hit hard on social media.
This most certainly will cause a tidal wave.
That's what he wants, though. He wants the attention.
Deuce, I'm on your side. Okay?
He wants the attention.
And, I'm on your
Poor
side
guy.
simply because when
see what he's the same thing that he's afraid of becoming, he is becoming right before our eyes. He takes pleasure in that. This will certainly cause a tidal wave. That's not going to get you healed. That's not going to make your mama better. That's not going to make your daddy better. Because you got issues with him too. The same things you think about your mother, I told y'all earlier, I said it earlier in this while watching this interview, his biggest fear is that he's going to become his mama. We see it. We see it. So face it and deal with it and do the shadow work.
It's best that you be fair and not biased.
Certainly.
And I've had your mother, I've had your father, and I've had you, and you have been the topic of many conversations and many YouTube videos over the years. And so this is the first time that you are actively hitting back, and you're not blaming the public. You are blaming
I'm blaming the thing that there's called self my mother when it's not my mother.
Oh my God.
That's your mama, honey.
I'm going to hell.
I do not.
That's
I do
your
not
mama,
blame
honey.
The public for any of this.
That's your
they
mother.
Can only know such limited information after all.
That's
And
your
we
mama,
have to work
honey.
on so few information. Sometimes you have to make a split decision, and you're not sure if you're making the right choice or the wrong choice with it, especially in matters like these. So I do not blame them. And I do not blame the people who may follow my mother simply because they like her music.
What music?
I don't think they've heard her music for a very long time.
Okay.
For a very long
Her
time.
stories are very captivating.
Okay.
And you have that same gift. You know that, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Sam.
I basically, many of the gifts I've gained from my mother and my
You
father.
Sam,
The
you
reason why
you
they-
got a little gift of manipulation yourself, sir. You have a gift of persuasion yourself. I remember my mother and father told me when I was little, you have a very strong gift of persuasion. And yeah, we still talking about Sam. My parents told me they wouldn't let me go to college. I finished high school when I was 16, and they wouldn't let me go to college right away. They made me stay in high school them extra 2 years or the extra year, because they said you have a very good gift of persuasion and a great gift of influence, and you can have anything you want. And until we teach you what to want, we gonna keep you at home. Be very, very careful with the gift of manipulation, because you can manipulate something for the positive or you can manipulate it for the negative. And Sam, you got that same manipulation that your mama got. What you've been able to do is couple it with the meek and mild, I want to say veneer that your father has. He's got a very good temperance, a very good control. He's always in control. He's always in control. You ain't never gonna catch him off his square. And you got that too. But Sam, you got to take some responsibility of where we see Jaguar showing up, because we saw Jaguar show up here. Okay, honey?
Come as such is due to the people who I've been with. I was a good kid that was given good leadership.
Okay.
And with all the knowledge that I've gained in this age of information and the internet, I've effectively become somewhat of a modern day scholar, a modern day erudite, if you will.
Sam, baby, you're working on an associate's degree. You just went back to school last week. You failed your first semester of college. Scholar where? Do you know what that word scholar means? Baby, you got that same grandiose. Boo. How you gonna hold your mama captive to your forgiveness when you got the same shit whirling up inside of you? Baby, you're not a scholar. You're just really well spoken. You've learned some vocabulary. Scholar? Nah. You're working. You just went back to college last week. You're working on an associate's degree in art and design. Thank you. Like mother, like son. He don't even see it. It wasn't until I faced myself that I was able to see the things I hated about my parents in me. I didn't even want to look at my own image because I hated them so much. And it wasn't until I came to terms with it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that I was able to embrace myself and say, yeah, we could work on that. Yeah, we don't want to pass that down to the next generation. Yeah, we want to definitely deal with that. No, we want to make sure that I keep that. You're such an enemy of your mother, you don't even realize y'all the same nigga. You think you're a scholar? There's scholars in this room right now. I'm a scholar. I'm a biblical scholar. I have a master's degree in divinity. You're not a scholar. You're a student. Get it together.
All right. So
you showed us a little hand-drawn sketch of an angel and a demon. We wouldn't even know what it was if you didn't tell us. Don't make me be real with you.
anything else you want to add before we wrap this up, Deuce? You got something else in the folder or something you want to show me?
Well, I guess if you'd like, I can show you some of the a bit of the progress of a proof of my own talent.
Okay.
This here I made this Monday when I was in school.
All right. So you use art as a way of expression.
Art is a form of human expression.
It
to me,
is.
like many artists.
It is the conversation. It is the language of God.
Yes.
It's the arrogance for me, honey.
All right. So we're gonna
See, because one thing you have to understand, Sam, is part of being intelligent is being socially intelligent. And you defy the term autism and Asperger's. I'm not going to put that on you, but I will definitely say you are socially unintelligent. Honey, baby, you got to humble yourself. You got to chill out. You need some healing and a hug and some good pussy or something. A salad. Maybe a salad wrap. I don't know. Do you eat oatmeal in the morning? Because it's warm. It makes your belly feel real warm. Like you're completely... You can tap into the wrong emotions very easily. But you have a difficulty tapping into the right emotions very easily.
Take a picture of that. And what is this?
This here, well,
She gonna take a picture of it and put it on her Patreon for people to be able to see. Lord Jesus.
it is for the pet project that I've been working on for many, many years.
That conversation
Since I
should have
was
been cut off a
freshman in
long
high
time
school,
ago.
as a matter of fact. So
Okay.
that's going back to 2016.
Okay.
This here is basically a simple articulation of a style of combat for one man and his story.
Okay.
This story here is something that started off on a simple concept.
Poor guy.
If it is said that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son so that his children may be free from the grasp of sin,
Okay.
what would it mean to a person?
That's not what
if
it
they
says. First of all, that's not what it says. It says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe in him might have everlasting life. That's not what you just said. Because I'm a scholar.
I think so dearly.
Boy, baby,
Almost as much.
Sam, can you draw a heart? Can you just draw a heart? Do you draw any round characters, or are they all angled and sharp? Are they all angels and demons? Are they all opposing characters? Caricatures? Can you draw circles? Can you draw flowers? I'm drawing them. They're healing to me. Can you draw a heart, Sam? Just a heart? See, sometimes when artists draw, they tell you a lot about themselves. And these hurt, unhealed, emotionally ill, and sometimes mentally ill people, they can draw some angels, they can draw some demons, they can draw some dragons. Can you draw a cloud? Can you draw a sunshine? A 4-leaf clover? A yellow moon? Can you draw soft characters, or is everything hard and theological? Is everything about man versus this, or this versus that? Baby, you need a soft place to land.
What would they do in that case? And to this man, he would go great lengths. He would embark on a path to restore his world from destruction, an unjust destruction. But more so, he would go on a long journey to right the wrongs upon his world that he saved, even when people don't see him as their savior, even when they don't even know who he is. All look upon the fiery wings that ignite from his soul. And as he strikes upon those who dare try to execute his family, his friends,
I'm sorry to keep the laughing emojis up.
they see liberation. They see peace.
Sam, you can't save your mother, okay? And you can't cast her into utter damnation either. You're gonna have to find a happy medium. Okay, baby? You can't. You can't save her, and you can't cast her into utter damnation. You're not in control of this. You have no cards to play. You are not in control. You were a child who was brought into a fucked up situation. And the only thing you can change is you. And right now you're unattractive. Unattractive. You're not attracting good things to you. You said if you were financially stable, you could manage your money. Why aren't you? You got enough control to determine whether or not your mother can be a better person or not, but you don't have enough control to attract a stable financial life. You can't save your mother. None of us can. You can't change your mother. None of us can. We have to be observers in this life. You can't make things any different than they are. I keep my foot on her neck. I don't try to change her. I put her in a boundary. I put her in a box. You will not see her try to take another person into her possession again. that game show is over. You won't see that happen again. Okay? But I can't change who she is. I can't change her mentality. You got to let it be what it is. And be at peace. That's something you don't have right now, Sam. You don't have peace. You don't know peace. You have made peace with chaos and made a story out of chaos. It is no man's responsibility to venture out into the world and go on a journey to restore humanity and save people. You're spiritualizing rejection and failure. Poor thing.
See freedom riding upon him as he strides the air.
Oh my God.
His swords, effectively his embellishment of wings. But the true wings come from within. This is the tale of what I'd like to illustrate as the soul-bound saga. When one taps into not just their mind and heart, but their soul, grasps themselves from deep within and the internal conflict that burns them, and uses that as their vessel to accomplish what is seen as the impossible.
But do you realize that you can't accomplish the impossible if you have such internal conflict? That's what I just said. That's what I just said. You have to be at peace. Love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Thank you. I was waiting for it to come through the chat or me or whoever. Love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. You haven't gotten to those vibrations yet. And you might not yet because you're at such an age where that's not really where you are. You don't usually get into the place of enlightenment till you turn 43. When you study things outside the Bible, you'll understand that. All of us, there's a set path and plan that every human being on the planet follows. That's why you find certain people of certain age groups hang together, because they're in the same place, the same vibrational path. You got a ways to go from that, and the issues you have with your family make it harder. But you shouldn't be walking around with internal conflicts. You should be at peace. You deserve that.
Us as living beings, we are capable of doing what many would see as the impossible. We have journeyed into the stars.
Can you draw a heart?
As far as we can in the depths of the earth. We have gone across the globe.
Can you draw a vase?
Shining sea, from continent to continent.
Can you draw a bowl or a wine glass?
Make it easier for us to understand, to return to the days.
Can you draw a baby or a pillow?
We have done these magnificent things.
Can you draw a sofa?
Yet in these ages, we seem to stagnate.
Can you draw a throw blanket?
Degenerated ourselves.
A quilt?
We have stained ourselves.
Y'all understand where I'm coming from?
Disgusting activities which have debased us to not more than sensitive people. A sensitive people who are afraid of change.
Can you draw a figure of a woman?
Who are afraid to think that we are not at the peak of ourselves. When the peak of
Boy,
human
what? Shut up.
capacity is
Shit.
constant entropy, constant growth. We could have reached the heights that we see in films nowadays. We're well past 2015 and say, look back at Back to the Future 2. You saw how advanced that city in San Francisco.
Do you realize that as long as you have the mindset that your mother cannot heal until you forgive her, you hold our entire civilization back, and you are a hypocrite right now? Because I understand what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, but you don't understand that comes from an elevation of consciousness, not technology. That comes from an elevation of consciousness. Do you realize that animals are talking now? Animals are speaking. Their consciousness is elevating. But niggas like you are holding the whole world back. Maybe you'll look back at what you said and realize that.
Nowhere near advanced as it is now. If anything, it looks worse now.
Oh my God, you gotta heal, honey.
Bordering on the edges of greatness, and we can constantly do so. And if not by ourselves, with each other. Because with the infinite power of growth within
I kind of want to hear what Mark Afalifago got to say now. Shit, because this bullshit. God damn.
Given to us by God and bestowed upon us when we committed sin. And now that we are saved, we can achieve what many of us now see as an impossibility many years later.
I gotta do to him what I gotta do to his mama sometimes. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Carry on that torch. And maybe in our spirits, we could see excellence achieved that many of us saw oblivion. That's what I believe. And that is ultimately why I craft this story now.
Sam needs to go to bed.
In our very souls, our body's cage is a wellspring of infinite potential to save ourselves from perhaps the more deadlier contagions.
Now let's take a look at this picture. We're gonna do it real quick because we have to. Sharp angles. Nothing soft, nothing human, nothing approachable. Because Sam's ideal world is out of his reach in his mind. Okay? Sam is not in touch with reality and he's not made peace. I'm not making fun of the boy, Amanda. I promise I'm not. He does need to go to bed. He needs to go to bed with a big pillow and a warm blanket and maybe some down pads, some soft shit. Some soft shit. Because the world in his head is a war. It's at war. He's at war constantly. Go ahead,
be
Sam.
able to reach far beyond the stars, to find potential life in places that we may not see, or perhaps better, bring life that we have here to there, to plant that soil, to bring forth new life, to discover bounds within galaxies and within this universe, and if it is even possible, discover boundaries that our vision of the foreseeable universe is not a boundary at all, but is an extension further. That was incredible.
That was incredible. Well, that's because Tasha K don't read. She don't understand much about metaphysics and cosmology. So that was incredible because you used a whole bunch of words she didn't understand. But you have to understand, Tasha K just drank a whole bottle of wine in your face while you were telling your story and cursing your mama. She disassociated at some point. And all you really want is that was incredible. So there you go. You got it. And I gotta pee.
Oh, this is a story. This is a biblical.
It
Nah,
is.
dudes, you ain't. Nah, dudes, I don't give a fuck what they say. You ain't slow, bro. Nah, man, you ain't slow. No,
he's not. He's hurting.
Way ahead of time. And you see good in humanity. You see what we could do.
Yes.
She placating him. Go ahead, Tasha. Get your interview.
I see why your daddy stands 10 toes down with you. He see what others don't
But
see.
your daddy also tells you, Sam, you could talk that good talk, but you got to put the work in. Tell me your daddy ain't never told you that, because I heard him say it. You could talk that good talk, but when it's time to turn in an assignment, you need to do that assignment. You need to be studious as a scholar. We've written papers and theses and defended them. We've completed projects and done research. Your father has also told you that too, Sam. You've learned how to mask your poor time management and your poor soft skills and your poor social skills with big words nobody cares to hear, who already knows what they mean. You might impress Tasha K, but she don't read.
Because they don't want to.
Thank you, Lisa.
Enough. And I'm sure when the beginning of this interview started, people probably are thinking this, that, and this. But like, you know,
she don't know how to wrap up this interview. She having trouble wrapping it up.
Gen Z needs.
Yes.
No, you are not. I objection on what grounds? No, sir. You need to heal. You need to give yourself a warm hug. You need to look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're good enough. And tell yourself that you're at peace with this present reality, both known and unknown, for your best and highest good. You're in harmony with this present reality, both known and unknown, for your best and highest good. You're empowered by this present reality, both known and unknown, for your best and highest good. You are loved by everything and you are in love with everything in this present reality, both known and unknown, for your best and highest good. You are confident that all exists for your best and highest good, both known and unknown. You're aware of everything that exists for your best and highest good, both known and unknown, and you are in divine connection with everything that exists for your best and highest good, both known and unknown. That's what you need to do. All this, it's bullshit. It's what they call babble. It's babble. You've come to no conclusions. My heart aches for you, but it'll never break for you. Sam is lazy. Sam has found a way to impress people without having to do work. She is lying. She might not be lying. She might think she's telling the truth. She might think she's telling the truth because her children are still young. She might not spend enough time with grown kids to know that Sam just called himself a scholar, and he just re-enrolled in college last week, and he's only on path for a 2-year degree. Amanda, how many years did you spend in graduate, undergraduate combined? You don't have to answer that question. He just went back to school last week. He ain't even got to midterms yet, but he just told us he was a scholar. How you a scholar if you just now got in school? Do you know what that word even means? You've learned how to impress people with words. It's a show. It's the same mask your mother puts on, honey. And we see right through it. And we love you anyway.
And I believe that I'm the type of person that Gen Alpha will need to.
Gen Alpha, that's
but Sam, what do you need to work on? Like, what are your weaknesses? What areas of improvement do you have? What are you working on? And I'm not talking about academically or on the surface. I'm talking about deep down on the inside. What are your weaknesses? You're having a hard time tapping into that place. Because when you tap into that place, you see your mama. And you ain't faced her yet. You still fight her in your sleep every night.
The next generation.
Our kids?
Basically, our kids.
Okay.
These are the type of kids that
he's talking to somebody who don't even know what Gen Alpha is. So
that are learning our mistakes, and they're not learning what not to do. They're mirroring them. I'm scared of that.
Exactly.
Because of that.
Exactly. Go ahead and confess that. Go ahead and admit that. You are so afraid of mirroring the mistakes that your mother made. Say it out loud. Say it in the mirror. Get it out in the open, and then tell that demon what to do. Tell that demon of fear what to do. Tell that demon of self-loathing what to do. Assign them.
Because if the current cycle of the generosity.
No. Okay. So what you do is you tell fear. I appreciate you for bobbing your head up every once in a while when things are getting crazy and letting me know what to look out for. Continue to do that. But you don't have an option to attach yourself to me in such a way that I hate myself or I hate my mother. Self-loathing, I appreciate you being humble enough that I know I got stuff to work on, but you don't have an option to make me hate myself and constantly criticize myself and look down on myself. Do you understand, Sam?
And this goes beyond just
6 years.
The falsity of
that's a long time.
Replaced with black degenerosity. This extends to every single person in every single race. And if you believe so, even to those of any gender, regardless of whom you are, this extends to all of us as human beings, as humanity.
Duh!
If we continue this cycle of degenerosity, it will constantly flow. Much like a landslide, much like an avalanche.
You and your mama always got me checking to see if words are real words. Hold on.
It will exponentially get worse.
Do you mean
or
degeneration?
Logistically worse.
Because even the captions had to put a space
there. There will be
there.
some point when it plateaus. And that plateauing point is our annihilation. Only the positive.
What you mean annihilation? What you talking about?
Sam.
Like the end of humanity?
Oh, girl, stop playing into this, boy.
To basically describe the only way.
Well, the thing is, degenerosity is not even a word. Sweetie, do you mean degeneration? Like, is there another word that you're really trying to say to stay deep? Can you just have a regular conversation with people? Because you done fucked up my Googles. My poor Googles are like having trouble figuring out what the fuck that is because it's not really a word. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is connected. This site cannot be reached. Sam, you just made up a whole word, honey, but you a scholar. Degenerosity is not a word. Do you mean like selfishness? Do you mean inhumanity? I'm an English teacher, so you know.
Humanity brings about its own downfall.
I'm gonna go back and let him say what he just said.
Our kids.
Basically, our kids.
Okay.
These are the type of kids that are learning our mistakes, and they're not learning what not to do. They're mirroring them. I'm scared of that, because if the current cycle of degenerosity and
what? Now, I was scared to have kids for a long time, too, because I was scared I was going to parent them like my parents parent me. But I did go ahead and pay for that $35 an hour therapist. She sure did help me with that. She sure did help me walk through some of the pain that I experienced as a child and how it was showing up in my life as an adult, and the fears that I had of being a mother, and showing the balance of discipline and love. Get over your fear of dogs. Yeah, we can have a one-on-one chat. Chat me on Patreon. I'm happy to help you. Absolutely. Girl, I'm happy to help you, because I used to be scared of dogs too. And when I lived in China, people would sick their dogs on me. And I know what that's like. Girl, yeah, I can help you with that. For now, just stay away from them, okay? Trust no dog. Especially the little ones. The little ones are the worst. I'll tell you what. Absolutely. I'm happy to help you. And it's not even about getting over a fear. It's about assigning a fear. Because when I feel a certain fear about dogs, I don't fuck with that dog. There are some dogs, like I encountered 2 dogs yesterday. And one of the dogs was a big dog and one of the dogs was a little dog. And my daughter was afraid of the big dog. And I was like, oh, that's a good dog, baby. You ain't got to worry about that dog. The little dog was good too. But I know some little dogs that ain't shit. Okay, especially in America, them Chihuahuas ain't shit. If you live on the West Coast, you know. But yeah, I definitely talk with you about that, Amanda. I'm happy to help. No problem. But I'm still trying to figure out what degenerosity is, because my Google froze and said this site cannot be reached. I ain't never seen that happen before. Let me see if hold on. Let's figure it out together. Oh, it remembers from when I just searched on my iPad. Degenerosity. I'm going to click on it. Degenerosity. It's not a word. It's not a word. There is no definition to that word. It's a YouTuber. It's a public figure who calls himself Degenerosity. It's a YouTube channel. Honey, you can't be out here calling yourself I almost said scammer. You can't be out here calling yourself a doggone scholar and you using words that don't exist. I told you, I went to seminary long enough to learn there's no S at the end of Revelation. Because I had a professor who graded me down when I took a certain class. I kept saying Revelations. So what he decided to do to get it through my skull was every time I put an S at the end of it, he marked me down in the paper. Until I figured out, oh, it ain't no S at the end of Revelation. It's just Revelation. You too satisfied with yourself right now to be so wrong.
This goes beyond just the falsity of black excellence replaced with black degenerosity. This extends to every single person in every single race. And if you believe so, even to those of any gender.
I'll let y'all enjoy this. I'll be right back.
This extends to all of us as human beings, as humanity. If we continue this cycle of degenerosity, it will constantly flow. Much like a landslide, much like an avalanche. If the cycle continues, it will exponentially get worse. Or perhaps I should say logistically worse. Because there will be some point when it plateaus. And that plateauing point is our annihilation. Only the positive.
What you mean annihilation? What you talk about? Like the end of humanity?
Effectively. To basically describe the only way humanity brings about its own downfall is to constantly live and reinforce in its own negative beliefs. By devaluing ourselves to the standards that we set to ourselves when we can be more, is to limit our infinite possibility. By living in the stereotypes that others have given us, we debase ourselves. To the black women who think that the ratchet ghetto culture is a form of strength, you are stripping yourselves of the true angelic potential that you can become. You could be goddesses in these industry.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yet you lessen yourselves as nothing more as desecrated idols. And why? Because the people who are in charge...
Is he done sucking his own dick, or is he still... You tell me. Because I don't know. Oh my God. Sam, you gotta grow up, honey. Grow the fuck up, honey. Go ahead, Sam. I'm gonna let you finish. Jesus.
Give strength to this debasing material, to this dark matter. By giving strength in the negativity, by becoming what it is as a twisted form of power, we can empower ourselves in the short term.
Sam, that's you.
But rob ourselves in the long term.
Sam, baby,
and as our generation,
you talking about yourself. Did you not just say your mother would never be able to be a better person until you forgave her? Until she repented to you for whooping you at 7 years old with an ox cord? I ain't been back very long, only seconds, and I hear a hypocrite. There is no definition. I just showed you guys on the screen. My iPad was like, this site cannot be reached, baby. Sam, every single freeze frame I show of you looks like this. You're not a happy person. You haven't smiled once. And you should have gotten your suit dry cleaned and pressed. Okay. Thank you. Amanda said hit the like button. Thank you so much. Lisa. What the fuck? I'm going to go back a few seconds. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you guys for still being here. I know this has been a long live per usual.
Much like a landslide, much like an avalanche.
Oh my God, he's so self-righteous.
The cycle continues.
He's so self-righteous.
It will exponentially get worse. Or perhaps I should say logistically worse. Because there will be some point when it plateaus. And that plateauing point is our annihilation. Only the positive...
What you mean?
Wait, that's the total opposite. Okay. Do you know what the word plateau means, Sam? Do you know what a plateau is? A plateau is literally a place of no growth and no decline. Therefore, it's not a place of annihilation. It's a place of fertility. And I don't know if you're talking about, I'd imagine you're not talking about consciousness. I don't know what the fuck you really talking about. I don't know who you talk to when you at home by yourself. Thank you, Lisa. I love y'all being here. I really appreciate it. Sam, do you know the meaning of these words that you're using? Because you used one that doesn't even exist. I know your mother tends to do that. She said this was a celebration of mediocrity when we talked about the car fire. And I was like, no, she didn't say mediocrity. She said mediocrity. Which isn't a word, right? mediocrity, a celebration of mediocrity, which isn't a word. This is going to sound very familiar to you, Sam, when you look at yourself in the mirror. So your mama kept saying, these are celebrations of mediocrity. And I was like, mediocrity? Mediocrity? That don't sound right. Let me look it up. Hold on. Bitch, the word is mediocrity. And second of all, if you're saying this is a celebration of mediocrity, what was mediocre was the car fire. So we're celebrating the mediocre car fire? That you guys didn't do that great of a job? What the fuck, bitch? Do you understand the words that you're saying? Sam. I love being here with y'all. Thank you. And thank you, Amanda, for this. Sam, step back, okay? Step back. Stop trying to outgrow your present life. Okay? You're going to miss the best years of your life trying to outgrow your present life. You're going to miss the best years of your life trying to run away from what is. Go to a party. Make some friends. Play Dungeons and Dragons or whatever you kids do. Okay? Chill out. Chill out. Breathe. If you're feeling mad and you want to roar, take a deep breath. Then count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to be okay. You don't always have to be at the top of the conversation where you're just a step ahead of everybody else and just to further advance, because you're not. You sound like an arrogant fool to those who know. I'm an educator. I know what a fool sounds like. Listen, I'm going to tell you something your mama's arch enemy taught me. The man who knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. And when you come to that understanding and peace with it, then you'll be at peace with yourself. But I'm going to let you finish. Go ahead. Talk about the damnation of humanity because of the degenerosity of teenagers.
Alicia, what you talking about? Like the end of humanity?
Effectively.
Can you stay on topic?
To basically describe.
You ain't got no more questions for him?
The only way humanity brings about its own downfall is to constantly live and reinforce in its own negative beliefs. By devaluing ourselves to the standards that we set to ourselves when we can be more, is to limit our infinite possibility. By living in the stereotypes that others have given us, we debase ourselves.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, Sam, because I don't disagree with what you're saying. So let me ask you a question. What are you actively doing in your own, because this is when we start talking about spirituality and consciousness, okay? What are you doing so that all beings benefit? What are you doing in your own life? What practices do you have? What habits have you started? What does your lifestyle look like so that all beings can benefit? Because the only way we can raise our consciousness to our full potential and our full value is if we have certain habits and methods and practices and ways of behaving and ways of dealing with one another. And when somebody wrongs you, it doesn't include damning them to their behavior until they ask you for forgiveness. That's the behavior that you're talking about. The devaluing of yourself to the point where you think a person has to come back in time and deal with the issues that you have with them before you can allow them to go forward in time. You're creating karmic cycles. Did you know that? You're a hypocrite, Sam. You really should think about what you're saying, because I agree with you. I understand that. And forgiveness is one of the best things you can ever do to raise the consciousness of humanity. To the point where we're no longer a type 0 civilization, but we become a type 1 civilization. Do you think intergalactic beings in other dimensions are walking around with unforgiveness toward each other? No. They're harnessing power from the stars and the sun and their moons. We're not able to do that yet because we're in such stark contradiction. The mediocre, look, celebrations of mediocrity. Do you understand that, Sam? You have to allow yourself to expand past your current emotions, and you have to understand that all feelings are chemicals that run through your body, and they could change at any moment. And you can't allow the way that your mama or your daddy or your grandmama or your auntie treated you to determine how you feel, because that is a literal vibration, and it will create the world that you live in, and you will continue to experience that perpetual rejection and hatred, and you're going to continue to interact with people like you and your mama for the rest of your life. You're creating your own hell, Sam. Draw some hearts. Just take out a piece of paper one day and draw some circles. Just draw circles. Soft, pillowy, fluffy circles. 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 And you might start crying because it's been a long time since you've allowed yourself to connect with anything soft, pillowy, and meaningless, and not theological, not scholastic, not intellectual, not metaphysical, just existence. Satchit Ananda. That's what this tattoo means. I'm going to show you something you might like, Sam. That's what the tattoo means right here. You can't see it. Hold on, let me show it to you. You still can't see it. Hold on, I'm going to show it to you. This tattoo right here that goes down the front of me, it means Sat Chit Ananda. Step outside of Christianity so you can experience real peace. Sat Chit Ananda means truth, consciousness, bliss. That's my creed. If something in my life doesn't line up to truth, consciousness, and just utter pure bliss, I ain't got no time for it. I don't have no time for it. I don't have no energy for it. I don't have no attention to it. It really is an NPC. But you put a lot of energy and attention into shit you don't want. So you're going to continue to manifest shit you don't want over and over and over again.
To the black women who think that the ratchet ghetto culture is a form of strength, you are stripping yourselves of the true angelic potential that you can become.
But do you understand balance? Because I hear that you don't like your mama, you don't like black people, you don't like black women. We get it. If my mama was Jaguar Wright, I probably wouldn't like black women either. But you might want to watch your mouth. Okay? Because you don't understand enough about socioeconomic and socio-educational and dynamics and history to say what you're saying. You got to heal yourself. See, you are trying so hard to be the opposite of your mother that you are your mother. Baby, let them niggas be. Just focus on who you are. Let them niggas be. There's always going to be niggas among us. In your religious superstition, your Bible says the poor will always be among you. Let them be. I bet you be scrolling watching them bitches twerk their ass though. Tell me I'm lying. Let them be. That doesn't even have to come out of your mouth. Because you're not even among those people. That's not even your circle. So why does that even have to be something you worried about? To the ratchet black women among... What about the ratchet white women? What about the white women? What about the Native American women? Because that's what I am. What about the Mexicans and the Hispanics and the Latinos and the Asians? Do you have a word for them too? Self-loathing, baby. That's what you're dealing with. Fear and self-loathing.
You could be goddesses in these industry.
But not everybody could be a goddess, honey. Some people just got to be regular people.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yet you lessen yourselves as nothing more as desecrated idols.
But how would he know if he's not exposing himself to those things? This nigga be scrolling at night watching bitches twerk. He jack off his dick, then he feel bad about it. You talking to God, so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. How would he know? How would he know? He's not, his father don't run in them circles. He don't fuck with his mama, so how would he know? He's a scholar. How would he know what's happening in those circles? Sam, you revealing yourself, baby.
And why? Because the people who are in charge give strength to this debasing material, to this dark matter.
That you enjoy so much late at night when you're home alone because you are an incel. You are an involuntarily celibate man. So because you enjoy that, oh boy, you gotta heal.
Giving strength in the negativity.
I thought we were just here to talk about your mama.
As a twisted form of power, we try to empower ourselves in the short term, but rob ourselves in the long term.
Sam, how many times have you watched a ratchet black woman on your Instagrams and your TikToks and busted a nut? I know.
And as our generations continue and they pick up on these negative signs and continue that, the signs of destruction shall only grow further. We'll continue to mistrust nature, constantly abuse it, try to seek of ways to...
Sam, when the last time you touched some grass? When the last time you sat outside in some grass and said, Ong Namo Gurudiev Namo, Ong Namo Gurudiev Namo? When's the last time? Baby, you're a hypocrite. You just talking shit because Tasha don't know what the fuck you saying.
Grow in the energy-friendly world when we're not ready for it yet and constantly drain ourselves of energy. Try to seek ways to economically build ourselves without this form of capitalism that people try to deconstruct, when in actuality, it only worsens things for the people who cannot afford the luxuries that those of the extremely established, the billionaires...
You just change subjects very quickly. You know, your mother does that too. Sam, your mother does that too. When she's run out of words to say about one thing, she just changes subjects and starts talking. I know Tasha sees it because she sat down and talked to your mother before too. Because you guys enjoy and you need the attention of people listening to you. So you'll do and say the most shocking, attention-grabbing thing to keep someone's attention because you probably... ain't got much else to talk about. Your mama does that too. You just went from talking about us, what I interpreted to mean, you talking about us elevating our consciousness to black women specifically who are ratchet, which nobody uses the term ratchet for other cultures. I don't understand why when ratchet is ratchet. I lived in China for 4 years. I can tell you about some ratchet. To talking about political economics. Touch some grass, nigga.
By giving ourselves to these ideals that only exist in a vacuum and not applying them to the common whole, we lessen the destruction that it has in actuality. By living in our own bubbles, in our own reality.
Does he hear what he just said?
By taking these negative things and try to wear them as symbols of honor, we weaken ourselves as a whole and turn ourselves into lesser beings.
We lessen the destruction?
Lesser beings than those of our previous generations. Quite literally evolving.
Dude,
backwards.
Shut the fuck up.
De-evolution.
Shut up.
Why did you mention the black woman particularly?
Exactly.
It is because I've seen a lot of it recently, especially with the...
I told you he be up late at night, scrolling and jerking. Scrolling and jerking. I just told you that. I told you that. It's the truth. For the first time ever, he's looking to the opposite side of his memory because this boy has been sitting here looking to the right the whole conversation, trying to create something that people want to hear. And now when she asks about the black women specifically, he looks to the left because he's tapping into his memory bank. He hates what he loves. He hates what he loves, his mama. Richard Gittins said, Jaguar, pathetic, right. I beyond pathetic. New subscriber, and I'm appreciate you. Got it, Richard. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. This boy hates what he loves, his mama. He hates what he loves, his mama. He hasn't made peace with her yet. So I almost fell out my chair. So everything that looks like her, everything that represents her, he's got this Oedipus complex. And it's a love-hate relationship that he has with his mama.
Recent BET 2024 awards and how many people are discontent, to say the least, with how awful and disgusting that it is. It promotes...
So the BET awards, BET is owned by a white company. It's not even a black-owned company. It's owned by Viacom. It's a caricature of black people. You really looked at the BET awards as a representation of black people? Really? It's a caricature of black people. How many BET awards are given to scholars and scientists? There are no academic awards on the BET. What the fuck are you talking about? It's the Black Entertainment Television. These are singers and rappers and actors and poets and entertainers, dancers. Are you looking to entertainment for your self-reflection? But you're not an entertainer. Just say you hate black people. Just say you hate black women in particular.
These people showing their bodies around, gyrating it around.
Not gyrating. But you watched it, didn't you? You watched the whole... I ain't even seen the 2024 BET Awards or the 2025s. I haven't seen it. I don't relate to it. I don't be tuning in. I don't be looking for it. I don't relate to it. I'm not better than it. I just don't relate to it. I don't watch BET. Nigga, you telling on yourself. You literally tuned into the BET Awards to hate watch. How many nuts did you bust while you watched it? That's what I want to know.
I must say that I too am kind of disgusted that my own flesh views this thing and feels somewhat manipulated. My dick got hard and my balls got hard and I couldn't stop touching myself when I saw all that black flesh. And then after I came, I had post-nut, what do you guys call it? Post-nut, whatever. And you were like, oh my God, this is so against everything I believe in. But oh my God. Nigga, you're a hypocrite. You need to come to terms with yourself. Even.
You loved it.
I too am not perfect after all.
Tell me I'm lying. Tell me what I just said ain't a lie. This nigga, for the first time, has a smile on his face. For the first time this entire interview, he got a smile on his face. Thinking back to Glorilla and Megan Thee Stallion and everybody else who was in the scantily clad wear. Boy, you a hypocrite. You a little self-righteous, judgmental motherfucker. Dude. For the first time, he got a smile on his face and his eyes are closed. He just went back there. This is the first time you've seen him like this, with a soft expression on his face, as he talks about these ratchet black women who showed their bodies on BET during his only reference is the BET Awards. What is that, like a 45-minute award show? 90 minutes? That's his whole reflection to give this prescription to black women? Get real. We know you. We see you. It's a lot of black men out here that can't stand black women because they mama ain't shit. We know.
Vast amounts of filth that have spurned across the internet.
Spurned.
In real life or fictitious fabrications.
Nigga, then what are you mad about? If they're fictitious fabrications, as I said, caricatures, then what are you so invested in? This is fun.
Many of which have more of a tangible disgust than the words that leave my mother's mouth.
Houston, get ready for a New Year's
That's a great time for a commercial
that will
break.
go down in history. Kill any nasty little bugs in your body.
It's obvious that sex sells in every industry.
You like it, don't you?
But to capitalize on
This is what you call a self-confession. Somebody said earlier he's self-snitching. Somebody said it earlier in the comments. He's self-snitching. Yep. He loves it. And he hates that he loves it because he hates his mother. And he hasn't come to terms with it. This is what you call a religious mindset. When I was in the church, we used to call it religiosity, where you were so locked into your religion and to the tenets of your religion that you couldn't live. Nigga, if you busted a nut because you saw a woman in a beautiful dress, nigga, just enjoy it. You gotta live and breathe and enjoy life. Oh my God.
It's nothing more than a short-term investment.
In other words, his nut lasted about 8 seconds.
For this, in exchange, destroying humans on an intellectual and potential level.
So black women are destroying humans on an intellectual level, but you just said, as if all of us are. I don't take that personal because you're not talking to me or about me. But you just said the scantily clad women that you saw. Let me see what you saw that was so scandalous and scantily clad, because I didn't check out the BET Awards, so I wouldn't know what the fuck you talking about. But I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick look over here because let me see. This was 2024. Come on back here, keyboard. We got to do some work. BET Awards 2024. Let's just look at the images and see what he might have seen. They got his dick so hard. So you like Tyler. She was very pretty. And there's Megan Thee Stallion, like I said. I don't know who that is. Cardi B. Okay. And we see a little bit of legs with Sexy Red and some Doechii. So you're not used to seeing women and it got you all upset because you saw some women and you can't have? And you busted a couple nuts, because I'm sure it was some ass shaking, and then you was mad at yourself, right? But you liked it. Just chill out, dude. Be entertained and keep it moving. God damn. This how you live your life? You gotta make peace with yourself. You're not a child, so I'm gonna talk to you like a grown-ass man. I recommend you masturbate twice a day. And make peace with it, God damn it.
We used to send rockets up into the stars and be able to reach up to Pluto and beyond. But now, when's the last time you saw a rocket ever reach space and not crash?
Pluto. Do you realize how far away Pluto is from Earth, sir? Because I understand astrology and I understand astronomy. We've never sent a rocket to Pluto. We haven't sent a rocket to Pluto. We haven't done that. That's not something we've done. Pluto is so many billions of light years away that they've even said it's not even really a planet. I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Burning up in the atmosphere. I bet you it's been years, hasn't it?
Well, they got the spaceship stuck up there right now. They got some people up there.
It's not a ship. It's not
a. Having to send Elon Musk up there to get them, but they don't even know if Elon Musk rocket gonna make it.
Well, he did, and he brought him back. So now, what we talking about? He did. He went up there in one of the SpaceX contraptions, and he brought both of them back. So now what? They were stuck in a Boeing piece of shit that shouldn't have been up there. Because, Boeing. Shout out to Boeing. I fly Boeing airplanes a lot. I shouldn't say too much. But, Boeing. Them A320s ain't like them 737s and 747s, okay? It's not the same. But I'm not sure this dude knows what he's talking about. I think he got upset because he busted a nut a couple nights ago about the 2024 BET. Now, mind you, this video is a year old, so it would be 2024. I think he's still feeling shame. Shame. That's the other one you have to face and deal with. Shame. Shame goes along with self-loathing. Did you know that the lowest vibration in this whole dimension is shame? That's the lowest vibration. Shame is the furthest distance from enlightenment. So if you're still ashamed of your sexual arousal of seeing scantily clad women, and you associate their blackness with ratchetness because they were scantily clad, what do you say about the MTV Awards? What do you say about the American Music Awards or the Country Music Awards or the Emmys or the Oscars or the Nickelodeon Awards? What do you say about them? I mean, you just turned it into a whole racial issue, when in all actuality, you just mad because you can't get no pussy. Black girls don't like you because you're awkward. And white girls don't like you because you ain't got no money. So, just jerk your dick off.
And therein lies the problem. There is a lack of stability.
Lower your voice and stop clapping at me when you talk to me.
There is no order.
Fucking stop shaking my microphone.
There is no near guaranteed method to get those people down from there.
It happened.
And hence why they're stuck.
It happened.
Hence,
they came
the
there.
Paranoia of even trying to reach into space further to begin with, because
it happened. They're both in physical therapy now to recover from the long 8 months they were in space. They're fine. I checked on them a couple days ago. Now what?
We can't even save our own people who are stranded up there.
No, we did. It's done. Elon did it. Now what? Doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. Doom to doom and gloom. Can you go back to talking about the BET Awards? Because we saw a little smile cross your face when you thought about that. Go sit down somewhere and draw some circles.
I think there is a reason. And I'm going to say this because, Deuce, you will be coming back to my platform.
Oh, okay? Shit.
And we won't have to talk about your mother. We can talk about all the things that you observed while walking this earth.
He hasn't observed anything.
Games, while reading. And while connecting with source energy, which is...
Has Deuce referred to any scholastic material through this entire conversation? Or any any empirical experiences? Any empirical knowledge? No. He's theorizing. He's saying words that don't make sense to him, but make all the sense to me. And what I see is a man who hates his mama and has become an incel as a result of it. As a byproduct of the hate of his mother, he purposely repels women. I'm going to say that. It ain't his fault.
Art, because God is an art. God is the creator of all things. And when you create, you are God and you are directly connecting with source energy. And the moment we stop creating and we let a computer create for us, we are killing ourselves.
Yes.
And there's a reason why I feel they label people like you who are socially awkward.
Forgive me for laughing.
They want to put labels on you. They want to say that you're autistic. They want to say that you have Asperger's. They want to say all of these things.
They want to create a vessel to fear us.
Right.
To treat us as beyond the norm, something that should not be striven for.
What? Striven?
When we are...
First of all, striven is not a word. Second of all, baby, you ain't that different than a whole lot of other incels. Okay, get to know some other maybe you need to join an incel support group. You're not that different than a whole lot of men who hate their mothers. Many men who hate their mothers and have grown up in abusive realities like you have are exactly like you. You're not that different. There may not be a lot of y'all, but there's a group of y'all. There's enough of y'all that you're not that different. And that doesn't put you on a different scholastic level or another intellectual level as anybody else. Because you just started your associate's degree last week. You're not that special, honey. You need to heal.
In actuality, and this is probably the biggest form of boasting that I've ever given in my life.
Oh my God, the biggest form.
When people like us are perhaps the potential to continue on humanity's future. People like Albert Einstein, like Stephen Hawking.
Oh my God.
And how many kids did these niggas have? Tell me about their personal relationships. Tell me about their successful, loving, committed, romantic companionships that they had. Tell me about the children that they raised that the world benefits from. Or were they just minds? And they both went to school. Stephen Hawking, you mean Dr. Albert Einstein and Dr. Stephen Hawking? Honey, please don't compare yourself to my faves, because they actually finished their associate's degree.
Jesus. We are the
Did he say
people
Jesus Christ? Hold on. Did that nigga say Jesus Christ?
Jesus.
Cause that nigga don't even exist. Come on, somebody. This is hilarious. We are having an interesting conversation today. Lord.
We are the people that look
Amanda,
at the world
notice I still got
differently,
your comment up here.
and we bring a new perspective. And in those new perspective, it gets people questioning, what if we could do this? Well, instead of A and B, what if we look at this? Why don't we look at point alpha before we reach point A and B?
Give me an example. Give me an example. You're trying to find your value in this world because all you see is what's different than you. You need to make peace with yourself. My mother told me when I was 8 years old, she said, honey, don't ever search for the acceptance of the in crowd. Know that you are the in crowd. And I never forgot that. She told me that in 1988, and I never forgot that. I don't reach or search for the acceptance of others because I am the in crowd. To me, when you get to that place in your enlightenment, in your actualization, then you'll be at peace with your mama. And you won't have to find something awe-inspiring or impactful about your existence, and you can just be. There may not be a bigger picture. You may not do much. You might not write a book that changes the reality of anybody's paradigm or the scope of existence. You might not do none of that, because all I see you doing right now is running your mouth. Don't you got a paper to write? Don't you got homework to do? You may not be on those levels. Just be at peace with yourself. That's what you need to do. Go get your undergraduate degree more than your associates, because associates don't mean Nathan. It ain't. Having an associate's degree is like having a driver's license, okay? There's not one job requisition on the planet that says seeking someone with an associate's degree. No. And having a bachelor's degree is literally like having a high school diploma. So just chill out. You only like 21 years old, boy. Relax.
What if we brought this in? What will point A and B look now?
Give me an example. Give me an example.
I said this to my mother in one of our last calls.
Here we go.
She asked me if I was a pawn or a king. I said neither. If I were
Right.
to be anything in the game of chess, I'd want to be the board. A pawn
Nigga, you
is
are
obvious,
boring.
But for a king, the entire game rests on his shoulders, and he's still in control of the players. If anything, the one constant in a game of chess is the board.
So what are you? Your mother gave you a very abusive question. That was a very abusive question. Are you a pawn or a king? That's a very abusive question. That's making you question your own self-importance and your own self-worth and your value to the planet. And I would never ask my child a question like that. I understand the game of chess. I'm a queen. I don't move. I don't go nowhere, bitch. You move around me. I'm gonna be where I am. You come to me. But to ask your offspring that question sounds like, are you important enough? How much power do you have? Nigga, but you're not the board. You're not. As much as you keep trying to be the board, you're locking yourself into a reality that doesn't feel very good. OMG, these incels.
Every bishop is always situated on a white and black square that they always move upon. Every rook moves on a cardinal direction of that 8x, not 8x8, I believe. Wait, is it 8x8? I think it's 8x8.
I don't know. She don't know.
There, you have rook.
Oh my God,
knight,
stay focused.
bishop,
Oh my
king,
God, nigga.
queen, and then
You be having a hard time proving you don't have Asperger's. I'm just being honest with you.
and there's a replica of the first 3. So yeah, it's an 8x8 grid. On
You
that
have a
8x8
hard time
grid,
convincing somebody.
the players always work in bounds of that grid, because that is where the true law lies.
So you'd rather be the grid that keeps people bound, is what you're saying?
It is the law of the land. In war,
Oh, here
what
we
is
go.
the first thing that is most important?
Here we go with the sharp angles again.
Intelligence. What is the terrain? Are we dealing with a forest? Are we dealing with a desert? How are we going to maneuver with those? Can we employ any form of stealth tactics? What can we?
Can you draw a heart? When's the last time you drew a heart? When's the last time you drew a circle? Just something soft, something meaningless.
Apply?
Jaguar,
Because the most important tool
This
is
your
knowing
son.
what you're dealing with. How do you play the game? And how you play a game is dictated by how it is established, by the foundation. In chess is the grid. It is that 8x8 board.
I see like 1 or 2 more
board.
minutes.
In the game of war, even though it is not a game, it is dictated by the land that is seen as the war zone.
Oh, like 5 minutes.
In, say, a board game like
Hopefully
Monopoly,
she have another commercial.
every piece always moves in that property zone.
This is some
You
bullshit.
gain cards, community and chess cards from that zone. You go to jail on that board. You place houses and hotels on that board.
God, we didn't change games.
Why strive to be a piece that is controlled? Why strive to be a piece that is controlled by, that is always controlled by something else, or hinged behind the decision of something else, when you can be the very thing that dictates how far
Baby, you
those
gotta come to
people
peace with
and those
yourself.
pieces can go?
You got to be at peace with
Why
yourself.
be the functioning cog when you can be the boundary that decides it? Why be the
Wow.
materials of an architecture's new building when you can be the land that
But your
dictates?
mother didn't ask you what you want to be. She asked you what you are. And that question is so fucking abusive. Let's deal with that. Let's deal with the fact that your mother didn't say to you, Sam, you are good enough. I love you just the way you are. She asked you, are you a pawn or are you a king? Let's deal with that. That she made you, that she put you in a position where you had to question your own self-worth. And you had to outdo her question some way. And now you're expounding upon it.
It's how far and how high they can build. And that there describes me.
Oh, God. Not really.
I think beyond what many people normally think. Sometimes to a level that is unnecessary.
No, baby. You got a grandiose
Sometimes
idea of
it
yourself.
becomes necessary.
You have a very
And it leads
grandiose
people to
idea of
think that
yourself.
There's more to this than meets the eye.
Can you draw a heart?
And it's something that my oculi, the vehement oculi,
Here we go with another
can
poem.
detect.
Can we leave it here?
You couldn't just say your eyes can see. You had to say oculi. Boy, stop. Go ahead, shut this shit down. Tosh.
That just summed the whole universe up, Deuce.
He don't know how to have a conversation with regular people.
Certainly.
And I know you probably already know this.
He's exhausted her.
Don't let nobody tell you something wrong with you.
No, you need
Trust
to heal.
me.
You got a lot of emotional
ever will.
illness.
The only thing that can guide, the only thing that determines how strong or how
Here
weird
he
I
go
am
again.
is myself. And it's not, and that doesn't apply to just me. That applies to you and to everyone else.
Are you done yet?
All of us.
Is we finished or is we done?
We are as strong as we allow ourselves to be. And though there are some limitations.
Okay, so let me
there
tell
are
you
some
something that's going to be very important as you grow into being a scholar. Honey, you're going to have to learn how to communicate a lot more concisely. You're going to have to learn how to organize your thoughts and maybe even reference some shit when you speak. Honey, Honey, a scholar you are not, baby. Maybe a philosopher, but not even really. You just a chatty Cathy.
People that have already become the board.
Oh, God.
We too can become our own boards.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go. I got a pot on the stove that's about to boil over. I got to charge my phone.
We'll be back. No, normally I say now we gotta go. Bye, but we'll be back. Thank you.
Why are we clapping?
I've never clapped for my.
Okay, she don't know what the fuck to do because she knows that's what he needs. Honey, you create uncomfortable situations everywhere you go. I recommend that you study social intelligence. You really could use some social intelligence. You really could learn how to read the room. She don't even know how to end this interview because it's gotten so off the rails.
Damn. I'm inspired.
Inspired to do what?
And I just want to say this.
Oh,
Shout out to your father.
Don't give him no more, please.
Sam
Tasha.
Odom.
He don't even really like his daddy either. That's what you don't know.
Certainly.
And he's always said, Tasha, there's nothing wrong
Thanks
with
for
my
still
son.
being here, Lisa.
And I remember doing the first interview with you, and people were trying to say, no, it's something. It's Asperger's. It's this. It's something.
The boy hates himself, and he keeps trying to outshine him. He can't play baseball. He's not athletic. He probably can't play spades. He don't have no swag. He can't dress. So he's leaned into what gives him the most attention. I've seen it before in people. They used to be called nerds, but now nerds have to actually produce something. That's the difference. Sam is lazy, but Sam likes adulation just like his mama. Jaguar Wright can't sing no more. Ain't nobody inviting her on no platforms to sing. So when she come on a platform now, she gonna talk about some bullshit and then get into some Clive Davis and some P. Diddy and some Jaguar Wright and make up some shit about Tevin Campbell she can't prove because she never met him. And talk about Summer Walker in ways that she say things ain't never happened to her. And Brashear White in ways she can't prove, for shock value, for attention, because they're not substantive people. If you want to talk about a non-player character, ding, there go one right there.
And whatever a parent says about their child, I believe them. But your mother has told a lot of lies.
Her credibility is down in the abyss with her.
And, but your daddy, as a black man, has always said there is nothing wrong with my son. And he's still, to this day, because I called him. I said, is he ready to have an interview? He said, let me talk to him. And he came to you and asked, he came back, he said he's ready.
You didn't know that nigga was going to take you off the rails, did you?
Wow.
She about to go take a nap now.
I was a little worried in the beginning. However, I'm not worried no more. And if you ever decided to get into politics, my brother.
Please don't. Don't.
And
don't do that.
Run a country or two.
Nope. Please don't.
I'm coming to be up under your leadership.
Nope. Ain't doing that.
Okay.
You got to show and prove first. Go to